to the AM show. Now, you know what? It's a drizzling morning, a morning where the rain is drizzling here and there. But it also tells you that whatever you start to do, do not be, do not make anything serve as a hindrance to you. Because we could have looked at the range to say, well, we may not be able to come to work, but here we are. You probably are in your car. You probably are in your office. You probably are preparing to go. And that is the mark of a determined person. A person who says, I won't be perturbed by anything. And that I'll go out there and achieve whatever I want to achieve. This is the month of October, a month in which we need to all commit ourselves in advocating for breast cancer. Nothing should prevent us from advocating for the well-being of the woman and the man, of the persons who are suffering from breast cancer, to encourage them that they can be winners. Yesterday, I spoke with some people who say the name of the organization means victor, and that if you are a patient of breast cancer, you are already a victor. Let that serve as your guidance for today. Now, let me run you through how the day will be. We'll start with the AM News by Noella Karini Yale. After that, we'll bring you sports by Haruna Mubarak, and then we'll bring you news review. Kamal Dean is Deputy Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. Hamza Soyini is lawyer and member of the NDC's communications team. Andy Apia Dankwa is lawyer and spokesperson of the Movement for Change. Now, after that, we'll delve into the big stories. And Minority is ready to summon Minister of Communications, Sam Jatta George, to Parliament to answer questions following a deal with DSTV that the minister says bequeath to Ghanaian customers over 33% more value for their money. Meanwhile, DSTV has apologized for Ghanaians for the flip-flop in communication that sought to contradict the statement by the Minister for Communications on who and how long Ghanaians could enjoy, or when and how long Ghanaians could enjoy these newly enhanced packages. The flip-flops, the contradictions, parliamentary probes, where does this leave all of us? We'll discuss the issues, plus other matters arising. So join us in this conversation with your thoughts and views via phone and all our social media handles as we delve into the issues and discuss how Ghana can move forward. Remember, the show is being sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and Syntex Tanks. Wherever you are, however you're watching, good morning and welcome aboard. Let's start with the AM News.
Welcome back and good morning. It's time for the AM News with me, Noella Karini, and we begin with our top story. Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni has issued a rallying cry to magistrates and judges, urging them to prioritize the prosecution of individuals involved in illegal mining, regardless of their social status or political affiliations. Now, this call to action comes as the country grapples with the devastating environmental impact of Galamsey, including polluted waterways, destroyed forests, and contaminated soil. Fatal Bayaga reports.
Speaking at the 2025 annual general meeting of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana in Accra, Acting Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni said illegal mining is having a significant toll on individuals and communities across several parts of the country. Hence, they should attach urgency in the prosecution of illegal miners.
We must ensure that prosecutions related to illegal mining and drug trafficking and abuse are handled with seriousness, impartiality, and urgency. And I mean urgency.
He pointed out that drug abuse is a major issue in Ghana that undermines young people's aspirations, urging magistrates and judges to properly prosecute drug traffickers when such cases are brought before them.
A research I recently stumbled upon made grim reading and got me particularly alarmed. The results of the research concluded that there is a relatively high substance use among adolescents with a prevalence of 12.3%. It further revealed that 56.9% of the adolescents in Ghana abuse alcohol, while 26.4% abuse cigarettes.
In his address to the gathering, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dominic Ayine expressed concern that many courts, particularly in underprivileged areas, lack the modern equipment necessary to expedite the delivery of justice.
As Attorney General and Minister of Justice, I am committed to collaborating with the Judicial Service and His Lordship the Chief Justice and Parliament to modernize our procedural laws and align them with technological realities.
The Attorney General emphasized the need for courts to utilize technology to improve the efficiency of justice delivery.
Prolonged adjournments, missing dockets, and mounting case backlogs continue to erode public confidence in the justice system. Technology offers us the tools to meet these challenges. E-filing systems can be used to eliminate the phenomenon of lost dockets. Virtual hearings can be deployed to widen access to justice, especially for litigants outside major cities.
For Joy News, Fatah Bayaka, Accra.
Away from that, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Energy is worried of the impact of illegal mining on the energy sector, as heavy installations are threatened by the activities of illegal miners. The committee observed increase in destruction of power installations as illegal miners extend their harm to the energy sector. Deputy Ranking Member Collins Adumakomensa revealed installations of the Ghana Grid Company and the Bui Power Authority have all come under attack in recent times. The committee made the observation during a familiarization tour to the Wamaso Thermal Power Station in Kumasi, and there's more in this report filed by my colleague Ohiming Teria.
The Parliamentary Select Committee on Energy observed power pylons belonging to power companies and water in the Bui Dam are being adversely impacted in the latest onslaught by illegal miners. Here is a deputy ranking member, Collins Adumakomensa, speaking on the danger posed to power companies by illegal miners.
We were engaging the other participant. Two things came up. One has to do with Galamsey, and it is having a heavy toll on the energy sector also. It's not just about water, but Gridco complained about Galamsey, their pylons. People are digging where they have a lot of their pylons. Yesterday we were at Bui, and the Bui water situation is deteriorating because of the Galamsey situation surrounding their water bodies.
Mr. Adumakomensa also touched on encroachment of the WAPCO gas pipeline, which he described as a national security concern since it puts the operations of the Volta River Authority in danger.
There is gas plants at Tema where they've seen encroachers building on the major pipelines, the WAPCO pipeline coming from all the way from Nigeria into Ghana. That is a major national security concern, and we want to appeal to the media to help us propagate this particular issue, that Ghanaians should understand that there are certain areas that they must not necessarily encroach. Any effect on that particular pipeline will have a very devastating effect on all of us.
Members of the committee were at the Angomaso Thermal Power Station in Kumasi to acquaint themselves with issues confronting key public players in the power sector. The committee has since visited Bui Power, Netco and Gridco, among others. Meanwhile, the committee is pleased at the country's current energy situation. Members attributed the current stability in generation, transmission and distribution to the credible performance of companies such as the Volta River Authority and the Ghana Grid Company. Here is a member of the committee, an MP for Yilo Krobo, Albert Nyakote Tete.
VRA is doing very well. When it comes to power, I'll say that the power is stable. In most of the plants that we have visited, they are not even operating at full capacity. We may have a few problems with maybe with the distribution. Yeah, so I'm saying today that if the power is off, I'll not blame VRA, I'll blame the devil. And I'll explain that. So I'm saying that what we have to do is to support the energy sector, and VRA is our own.
The committee, however, wants more governmental support and investments in the energy sector to consolidate the gains as it singles out VRA for praise.
Moving on, Parliament's Public Accounts Committee says it has recovered 12.9 billion Ghana cedis in misused public funds, but warns this is only a fraction of the rot. Chairperson Abuna Osei Isari blames reckless spending, weak oversight and cover-ups across state institutions, cautioning that without tougher accountability, Ghana's finances will keep bleeding. Kenneth Jesse was at the committee sitting and now reports.
Public Accounts Committee fears Ghana's public purse is still bleeding, trapped in a vicious cycle of impunity where corporates escape accountability. Chairperson of the committee, Abuna Osei Isari, stressed that only a united front of Parliament, the media and civil society can drag the looters into the light and stop the carnage.
We have a report which we would look at per the work of the Public Accounts Committee and the support of the Auditor General. We have been able to retrieve about 12.9 billion Ghana cedis. And there's a whole report on that we'll be sharing with the public at the right time. So yes, we are making impact, but we can do better than what we are doing now. And that is why we want to ask for support from the media as well, because we are all partners in this. As we all bring it to the fore and see how best we can support each other to make sure the right things are done, I believe it will go a long way to reduce the infractions that we see when it comes to the management of our public finances.
The committee also ruled that a deputy HR officer at the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology must refund and end salaries totaling 31,000 Ghana cedis. The amount was validated and paid to an employee who had been absent from duty since March 2024.
Like the chairman said, chairperson, it was March of 2024. He didn't show up. He was validated. The supervisor wrote a query 5th April 2024. And then you paid him for April. Then you paid him for May and June and July. Madam, we'll make it simple. Whoever validated this person needs to pay this amount, 31,847. So ruled. Auditors, make sure that that person pays.
The committee says the recovery of 12.9 billion cedis is progress but not victory. Without biting sanctions and ruthless accountability, Ghana's finances, they warn, remain under siege and the looters will return to plunder again.
Director of the Health and Humanitarian Affairs at the African Union Commission has intimated good nutrition is a right of every child. He's rallying the support of all partners, both in the private and public sector, on the continent to ensure that no child will be condemned to hunger when we already have the solution to protect them. Now, Professor Julio Nina spoke at the launch of UNICEF's First Food Africa initiative in Cotonou, Benin. MFA Atiamwa Eli has more.
The First Foods Africa intervention is seen as a game-changing step towards ensuring that every child has access to safe, nutritious, and affordable food. The Director of Health and Humanitarian Affairs at the African Union Commission, Professor Julio Nirina, says nutrition is a fundamental right.
La bonne nutrition est un droit. La faim est évitable. La malnutrition constitue un défi que nous pouvons et devons relever.
Initiatives like this aimed at addressing the same challenge in the past have not yielded the expected results. A major concern for families has to do with the cost component. I raised this concern with the UNICEF Regional Director for West and Central Africa, Mr. Giles Fagninu.
How are we assuring the affordability of these locally produced, nutritious supplements for children?
Your question is extremely important. In the past, we have seen some initiative not so successful just because the cost was something that is a barrier for normal household, even to have access to what their children need. So what we are trying to do now is to make sure that the elements that help us to have the food we need for our children comes from the community.
Okay.
So we review what we have at community level. We know what children need based on their age, and we try to match the need with the local production.
The program will focus on 3 key areas: incentivizing local production, strengthening policies that guarantee access for all children, and driving large-scale social and behavior change campaigns. The AU Commission believes it is an invaluable investment to the continent.
Car en investissant dans les premiers aliments des enfants, nous investissons dans la première et plus grande richesse de l'Afrique, son peuple.
The Commission affirmed it is working with UNICEF and other regional partners to amplify this initiative. My name is Amafa Ewenam Atiamwa Eli for Joy News, Cotonou.
Now, the CEO of the Los Abuelos Foundation, Eunice Aban Afare, has renewed calls for urgent interventions to safeguard the rights and dignity of Ghana's elderly. Speaking at Yamaransa during a humanitarian impact project to mark the UN International Day of Older Persons, she urged government and policymakers to pass the long overdue National Aging Bill, stressing that its implementation would provide the legal and policy framework to protect the well-being of Ghana's growing elderly population. The program, which focused on caring for aged persons, saw about 1,000 older people benefit from various forms of support.
Aged persons were expected for the Los Abuelos Foundation's Yamransa Humanitarian Impact Project, but they exceeded expectations and underscores the urgent need for elderly-focused interventions. Partnering with the University of Cape Coast, the foundation marked the day with free medical screening, health insurance registration, and the distribution of clothes and groceries for the elderly in Yamransa. Speaking at the event, the CEO of the Los Abuelos Foundation, Eunice Aban Afare, said the initiative embodies the foundation's mission of protecting the rights and welfare of older persons.
As per the name of the foundation, we care for the older people. So we promote conversations and actions that concerns the welfare of older people. And we do this in many ways. We do this through research, and that is through a collaborative method. As we speak, we have this collaboration with the University of Cape Coast, that's the Department for Population and Health. We do this also through the humanitarian intervention aspect of things. So the 1st of October every year is the United Nations International Day for Older Persons. So today we are here in Yamransa to render humanitarian service to the older folks in Yamransa. So what you are seeing behind us is free clothing being given out to older persons. We have a free groceries also giving out as well. We do also have a free registration of national health insurance for those who need renewal and those who don't have the card at all.
She also appealed to policymakers and non-governmental societies to prioritize the needs of the aged.
We want to appeal to government, we want to appeal to other civil society organizations to prioritize the well-being of older people. In terms of policy, at the moment we have the National Aging Bill, which has been in Parliament for so long, is not being passed. We pray that with this current government, the President will expedite action on passing the bill in order to promote the well-being of older people.
The head of the Department of Population and Health at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Kobna Esiadonko, noted that the partnership not only extends critical support to the aged, but also highlights the role of academia in driving social change.
What is important is that this is giving a signal, bringing the academia to the community. And I think UCC have been doing so great. I know one of the departments is also at Eguafo, which is the social laboratory. When we do this, the community understands education. The community begins to realize the need to even help the kids go to school. And I think that is the significance of this, as far as the eye of the community is concerned.
The theme for the day was older persons driving local and global action, our aspirations, our well-being, our rights. From Nyamransa, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Well, that's it for the news, but my colleague Kojo Brace is on standby with the business update right after this. I'm Noella Karanyali.
Let's do business updates now. President John Mahama has disclosed that his government is in negotiations with the United States over the 15% tariffs imposed under the Trump administration, as well as discussions on the renewal of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. Speaking at the Jubilee House on Wednesday, October 1, during the commissioning of newly appointed ambassadors and high commissioners, President Mahama stated that the outcome of the talks would be critical for Ghana Street prospects.
Wish to inform you that negotiations are ongoing with regards to the trade tariffs of 15% and the renewal of AGOA, which was a 0% tariff on African nations. And so those negotiations are still ongoing. I urge you as envoys to check this clarity whenever questions arise. Diplomacy involves more than just negotiation. It also encompasses managing perceptions and safeguarding your nation's reputation. Distinguished ambassadors and high commissioners, your foremost responsibility is to tell Ghana's story with conviction and credibility. You must present Ghana as one, a stable democracy with a proven record of peaceful transitions; two, a land of opportunity open for trade and investment; three, a hub for technology, innovation, and a creative economy; and four, a vibrant cultural nation and a good tourist destination.
Well, the Chief Executive of the Association of Ghanaian Industries, Seth Chum Akwabwa, has urged government to prioritize support for local manufacturers and introduce policies that encourage individuals to purchase more locally produced goods as inflation continues to decline. According to him, strengthening the capacity of local manufacturers will help boost business growth and drive the economy forward. His remarks followed a sharp drop in September inflation to 9.4%, the lowest rate since August 2021.
So if you're asking of the impact, the ultimate impact is that we'll see businesses expanded and then the economy booming. But we need to look at the variables very well. As I mentioned, when you have inflation coming down, and then the imported inflation is becoming lower than locally produced goods, it has an implication. The implication is that there's the tendency for people to import more. So the gains you are supposed to have, you probably will not have it fully because people will buy more of the imported goods. And that doesn't actually create the jobs that we need because they undermine local production through the loss of market share. So generally speaking, it is positive, but let's look at the specific items and see where the drops is coming from and see how we can tweak things, we can work on the local manufacturing bit, policies that will help local manufacturers so that as the prices are dropping, people will buy more of the locally produced goods. That's where you have a maximum positive effect of this development.
That's all in the business update, and that wraps up the AM News. Up next is AM Sports.
Good morning. Let's do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, there are growing concerns over the inauguration of the 9-member committee set up to supervise boxing on an interim basis. The Sports Ministry and the National Sports Authority suspended all boxing activities in the country and dissolved the Ghana Boxing Authority following the death of NX Akushe, popularly known as Bahubali. But Box Office Promotions CEO Alex Ntiama insists the decision is not constitutional. He spoke to my colleague Muftar Nabila Abdullahi.
We know in Ghana we have various sports associations, and the Ghana Boxing Authority is mandated by its constitution to oversee the administration of professional boxing in Ghana. Yes, the National Sports Authority has oversight responsibility for all sports in Ghana. Yeah. And the government of Ghana has the responsibility of making sure its citizens are safe. Yeah. So whatever the issue may be, we believe there should be a dialogue between the National Sports Authority and the Ghana Boxing Authority so that they can come out with something that the Ghana Boxing Authority, who should be the body to announce if there should be any emergency window. So
you felt what was done was unconstitutional?
Yes, it was unconstitutional because the National Sports Authority has no power to dissolve the GBA board.
That has been done.
Is it?
That has been done.
Yes, but you know, we, like you saw our statement and our position, we are not happy about it, and we went to the ministry for an emergency meeting to discuss about this thing for the IMC to be not to be inaugurated, but to have some conversation behind the scenes before we can move forward. But they went ahead. And anything that is done contrary to the GBA constitution, it's an infringement of the constitution and it's null and void. Okay. So I can tell you that the IMC taking over the mandate of running professional boxing in Ghana is inconsistent with the GBA constitution.
So you will go to court again?
Maybe, if the authority will not listen to us.
Now, the Court of Arbitration for Sports, they have dismissed King Faisal's request for a stay of execution in their ongoing dispute with the Ghana Football Association. In a ruling dated the 1st of October 2025, CAS rejected the club's bid to suspend resolutions passed during the GFA's Ordinary Congress on the 12th of August. Now, King Faisal had argued the Congress should not have taken place since the association had been formally served with a notice of injunction. While CAS has denied the stay of execution, the substantive arbitration will continue with a final decision expected soon. Now, Black Starlets head coach Prosper Nate Ogum is promising a much improved Ghana side when they face Ivory Coast in the final of the WAFU Zone B Championship. Now, the game is a rematch of the group stage encounter where the Starlets lost 3-0 to the host. Ogum says his players will be fully prepared for the Ivory Coast clash and they will match them boot for boot.
I think it's two things. We prepare them mentally, psychologically, that they need to be very focused throughout the 90 minutes and then try as much as possible to make sure that they don't commit early mistakes like we've done in our previous games where we had a red card and conceded early goals. Once they are able to do that and then we travel into the game, they will be able to get their confidence and then play. Tactically, we realize that the Nigerians, they are number 4, is the jersey number 4, which is the defensive midfielder. He's the link man. He tries to wipe behind the opponent, receive the ball, and then play either to their number 11 or their number 7 on the wide area. So what we did was to make sure that we also change our structure into a 4-4-2 and make sure that we sandwich him so that he doesn't get the supplies to be able to connect with his teammates. And once we were able to do that, they had no option than to resort to the long balls. And then we had also anticipated that if we are able to sandwich him, if we are able to prevent their captain, the number 4, from connecting with the midfield and the attack, the next option they would do is to play the long ball. So we also got ready for the long balls, especially the first balls, the second balls. So if you look at the game, throughout the game, the first balls, the second balls, about 80% to 90%, we won them. And then we've been able to turn some of them into offensive transitions where we could have even scored out of that. So tactically, we just played their captain out, and that was it. It will be a different Ghana. Our structure will be different. Our mentality, our character, everything will be different. They defeated us in the group stage, so fortunately we've been able to play them. So we know what to do. We'll go back and then prepare ourselves in terms of our mentality, in terms of our character, how we need to stay focused on the field. Tactically, we also have to re-strategize to make sure that we meet them boot for boot.
Well, thank you for staying with us. It is the AM show and it is sponsored by the Kinoga Company Limited and Syntes Tang. Now time for news review, and before we get into it, of course, Dumala, Karen Iyale and Kojo Braze, the Ahanta Pele are on standby to bring it, was making headlines on and in front of the newspapers. Guys,
that's right.
Take it away.
Right.
Exactly.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. They were too. Anyway, so let's begin with the Ghanaian Times, and the top story there is reviving state-owned media. National Media Commission pledges support for New Times Corporation. That's on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times. Also, cybersecurity is everyone's business. President Mahama, well, he mentioned this at the launch of the Cybersecurity Awareness Month yesterday in Accra. Find the story on page 12 of the paper. Ghana enact LI to mandate competitive bidding for power generation. I know that it's aimed at fostering or enhancing transparency and fostering innovation in the energy sector. Find the story on page 13 of the paper.
Because, you know, most of the times, these power plants, depending on how we negotiate with the companies, then impact how much you pay for power. So if we take out the single source from it and we say we're going to do competitive bidding, it sort of brings competitive pricing.
It reduces
and
the
it
cost,
will affect
right?
how much you pay.
Right.
Because how much you can do it, maybe I can do it far lesser. So if I can, and it's the same technology, then I win the bid, and it influences how much you pay as an end user. So
absolutely,
that I'm sure is the end game there. Now this one says prioritize practical, people-centered solutions to empower local governance structures. But my big story on the Ghanaian Times is this. Passengers get free ride on Tema and Pakadan railway operations.
Why is it?
Commercial affairs begin. Look, railway, if it's done well and right, like we discussed yesterday, takes a lot away from the road. When I rode in the railway, in the train from Asaprochona, which is around Sakomono, to Accra. The ride is just smooth. No traffic. It takes you less time to get to Accra. And it's good. You get to park your car. So I think that this, if it's done well, will really help, the real industry. And I'll be looking forward to it. Now, this one says, one MYAC tackle sanitation in Pong Katamanso municipality.
That's the 1 million youth action challenge. Yeah, it's in the Ghanaian Times. Let's move away from the Ghanaian Times and check out what's on the inside. It says, Ashanti youth declares support for Brian Ichampon. Obviously, it's towards the NPP's primaries scheduled for January 2026. Also, Russia warns us Western allies over nuclear security risk. Also, the Gaza genocide, why neutrality is complicity. And Dr. Gamil is writing that article in the Insight. CID invites ex-Attorney General over Jackpot petition. I'm not sure why most of the papers this morning is reporting that he is supposed to come this morning or today, because yesterday it was reported the same.
Yeah, so yesterday was about the petition filed by Jackpot.
Okay.
This is about the CID inviting him to appear before them.
That
But
makes
again, a youth or a citizen has also petitioned CID and the Chief Justice against Justice Yoniko Lendi on same issue. So interesting times.
Really, really interesting. Concerned youth group urges Yagbonwura to snub 2025 Equiapim Ujira invitation. It's about a chieftaincy dispute. So find the story on the Insight. Also, the Daily Guide says, handle Galamsey drug cases with urgency. That's according to the acting Chief Justice Buffalo Boni admonishing.
It was our lead story this morning.
That's right. That's right, on the AM news.
And I saw this yesterday. 2 soldiers arrested for mine robbery. Well, I mean, I saw 2 soldiers who have been pegged up allegedly for engaging in a robbery incident there. Details of that will be on the page 3 of the newspaper.
I know that they collaborated with some civilians, apparently, to hatch a plan to steal from a mining company. And they almost, were successful. But for the intervention of the police. So,
and military. Anyway, Mahama swears in 11 new envoys. One of them is my former Pro-Vice Chancellor of my University of Cape Coast, Professor Francisca Edubuando. I was happy when I heard her name. Minority Slam Sam George over DSTV impasse. And that's a story we're going to deal with on our top big stories.
The Catalyst says CID holds in Dame over Jape's explosive petition. Former Attorney General faces probe for alleged evidence fabrication plot against Ato Forson. That story is in the Catalyst. Also, Mahama declares tougher crackdown on cybercrime, calls out romance scams and hate speech as well. And Veep inspect abandoned market project in Kumasi. That story is on page 2 and 3 of the Catalyst. Let's move on and check out what's trending.
Now, CIBI, which is the Chamber of Indigenous Businesses and Investors, slams 4th estate over misleading NLA KGL reports. When you read it, you get details, because this chamber is explaining that the KGL didn't really have any $3 billion contract with NLA. NLA didn't operate such business before KGL came. They are rather going to pay some monthly, revenues to the NLA, which would then serve the NLA well. But when you read it, you get details of that. It sort of explains why the 4th estate allegedly got it wrong in their estimation. Julius Debreh's leadership rooted in fact, not sentiment. Well, so the race to replace Mahama is getting hotter.
On.
Yes. Between Chairman Asiedu Nketia, Haruna Iddrisu, who is the Minister for Education, and him, who wins.
And we're kind of also smelling that Ato Forson may just, join.
And again, Haruna Iddrisu smartly introduced the vice president into it. He says that you can become the first female president of this country. So let's see how it goes.
Times ahead. Deputy Education Minister Dr. Park also champions TVET as key to education reform. Find all of those stories on the exclusive. Also, the National Enquirer. Let's check out what's...
Well, Ablakwa, Elvis and Smith spotlight Pan-Africanism at Global Conference in US of A, of course. We need to project who we are. Japan's explosive petition drags Dame to CID today.
Gender Ministry police move to arrest dismissed KNUST Senior High School assistant headmaster. Well, I spoke with the gender minister yesterday. She did confirm, or mention, I should say, that the lady in question is a 13-year-old, but investigation, 13 years old. But investigations are still ongoing to further establish her exact age. That's what she said. Right?
And 13.
So, yes.
Anyway, but however old she is, just being in the senior high school and the assistant headmaster of the same school doing without, that's against the
Absolutely, I agree with you. Let's check out what's trending on digital media. Let's begin with My Joy Online.
The leading news portal in Ghana. Of course.
We
are the CIMG news portal of the year.
Absolutely.
So,
we cannot give up on Galamsey fight. Ken Ashigwe vows relentless battle. Also, Mahama petitioned to remove Justice Galendi over alleged misconduct. That's what you were talking about earlier. We will take advantage of President's meeting to end Galamsey, says Ken Ashigwe. And also, we've become outsiders in our own democracy. Dr. Zaneto Ajuman Rawlings laments civic irresponsibility.
And she says, Ghana's youth don't feel heard. Zaneto slams tokenism in policy design and will hand you over for trial abroad. Mahama won cyber fraudster. So a lot more stories on My Joy Online.
Let's check out City Newsroom this morning, and 12.9 billion Ghana cedis in misappropriated funds recovered so far. That's according to the Public Accounts Committee. Also, all regions to get passport application centers by December 2025. That's according to the Ablakwa. And also GSS outlines roadmap to sustain single-digit inflation. Well, we'll end it here. You want to say something?
No, I said this will be interesting to read about how to the Ghana Statistical Service outlining a roadmap to sustain single-digit inflation. Of course, now it's 9.4.
Right.
How do they want to do that? I want to know. I had the AGI advise that, look, government needs to support local businesses. We know that when it comes to inflation, food inflation is huge. How is that happening? Because there's a lot more of importation and what have you. Can the local businesses be supported to produce to fill in the gap? To say that if I am producing rice, and of course that's what I do. So if I am selling my rice at, say, 440 per bag on retail, and government can support me and I can do like 400 per bag on retail, that will be an achievement. That will reduce how much you pay for rice alone on the market. And that's how you reduce inflation.
Right.
So it will be an interesting story for you to go in there and identify what that roadmap is. Now, next MPP government will complete Agenda 111. That's according to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who is running to be flag bearer of the MPP.
Right.
Again, he was their 2024 flag bearer. He says that when the MPP comes, because this is his baby, that he brought out the Agenda 111, when he becomes president, of course, he would ensure that all the projects are completed. Now, some have been completed but are not functional. Ask, what are we waiting for? Why is that the case? Because when you go to Bokro, for example, the Agenda 111 project there has been completed. Why is it not functional? These are questions we should be asking, from government for answers. Why are those that have been completed not functional?
Right.
It's quite...
well, that's it for this particular segment. But of course, Brace and MFRDT are going to get into these papers and more with your panelists.
Just to help you out there.
Go ahead.
Myself and you, we're going to walk out, and MFRDT will hold,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll hold the panel.
Let's walk out then.
All right, then. Take over.
You're not working out, you're just waiting in the back room. But thank you so much, guys, for bringing us what's in front of the newspapers. Now we get into it straight. We've got Kamal Dean, Deputy Director for Communications NPP, Hamza Suhaini, lawyer and member of the NDC Communications team, and as well, Andy Apia Dankwa, lawyer and spokesperson, Movement for Change. It's quite a really nice bouquet this morning for you. You've got two lawyers. We'll get into all the legal matters that may arise a bit later. But top of the stories this morning definitely is DSTV. I am itching. Do you call it a theater? Do you call it drama? Do you call it the minister just doing what he has to do? Do you even invite some political lenses into this at all? You stay with us and let's get into the details. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Emma.
Good morning, Emma.
It's quite a rainy morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or from your areas.
Quite a wet morning.
It is, yeah?
I think from last night.
From last night, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I hope you're well.
Well, we are trying to look better than our problems.
That's nice to know. Do you have DSTV at home? Are you subscribed?
No.
You're not?
No.
Are you?
Same here, no.
You know, Kamal?
I do.
You do? Okay.
The capitalist.
So it's just one against two people, but you're able to at least tell us how you feel about what's going on. Let me start with you, Kamal. First of all, say good morning, what's on your mind, and we can get into it.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to the viewers out there, and of course to the two lawyers who are here. I hope they are not going to ambush me with legal terminologies and all the legalities that we have. We survive, right? Yeah? Not just ambushing me, ambushing you too as well. So let me say we thank Almighty Allah for yet another day, another morning. And I have always maintained that, look, it is by His grace that we are alive. We are alive and kicking. And of course, the favors that He does out to us each and every day demands nothing but praises and glorification of Him. That said, I would also say that, yes, we entrust our votes, okay, and confidence in politicians because we want a better form of governance. You're asking me what is on my mind. I've always maintained that good governance is supposed to be the hallmark of every single party that is voted into power. 9 months down the line, sachet water producers are complaining because our water bodies are getting worse in terms of contamination. 9 months down the line, the acting Chief Justice is complaining that the Galamsey is worse. And in fact, the response he can only get from the government communication who are supposed to ensure that things are done is that he should provide evidence. 9 months down the line, we're here and electricity bills are going high. And in fact, we are even told that it's going to go high. 9 months down the line, we're told that fuel prices is going to go high as well. Not too long ago, we thought we were going to have some reprieve as a people in terms of how to manage the forex market. Today is also getting off gear. I can only pray and hope that all the promises, all the sweet talks that my brother Hamza and his friends gave to Ghanaians indeed is going to be something seen as positive. But for where we are now, it appears that we have been hoodwinked into some form of governance that I pray and hope that all these things I've enumerated will see the light of day and will see better performance going forward.
Okay, thank you. Andy, you?
Yeah, so let me wish you a lovely good morning. Wish yourself a good morning.
Thank you.
Long time since I met my brother, Hamza. Hamza, good to see you again. And my own brother,
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing on my mind is what we've all been talking about the Sam George fight. And for me, there are so many angles to this. I think the first angle I see it is the refreshing story of a public servant, minister, the regulator, who seeks to fight for the interest of his citizens. Because it's essentially what Sam George is fighting for is for the consumers, Ghana here, and I want to commend him. For me, the bigger story though is the need for us to have a serious discussion on an antitrust system. Because you would rather we have strong institutions that fight these consumer protection issues. Because if there's something history has taught us, in fact, I don't need to go too far back into history. We had a communication minister not too long ago. We saw the minister force MTN to more or less increase their price. We've had situations where DSTV's prices were going up and nothing was being done. And clearly, when you compare to our neighbors, it just didn't make sense. So for me, you don't want a situation where you leave issues that borders on the protection of the consumer into the personal idiosyncrasies of who becomes what's called the minister. And for me, calls for the need for us to create a strong system where consumers will be protected. And I think it's the right time for us to have a serious discussion about the creation of a robust antitrust regime.
Okay.
I know we've had a Consumer Protection Act in Parliament for more than 20 years, and nothing seems to be happening there. So for me, I think that's the biggest story.
I think it's the biggest for all of us. Is on the table this morning. But maybe I should go to Hamza, and whilst you're at it, we can get straight into how you feel about how it's unfolded from the beginning all the way up until yesterday.
Good morning to you, and MFA, and of course to my own brother, Apia Damkwa, Senior Counsel. It's been a while, and of course my brother Kamal, Deputy Director of Communications of the struggling New Patriotic Party. Fortunately for them. And good morning to your production team as well. There's always a tendency for you to follow them. MFA, what is on my mind basically has to do with youth employment or unemployment. And most importantly, the steps being taken by this government in a realistic attempt to check youth unemployment in the country. I avert our minds to what the National Youth Authority is doing, the National Apprenticeship Program. My information is that they have gone around almost all the regions of the country, and they have been able to kickstart or initiate the processes that eventually would lead to the training of many of our youth in various skills. So if for nothing at all, at least they are equipped with the needed skills and given the tools they would require upon completion to apply their own trade. That is commendable. And the media must begin to pay attention to many of these developments that have been taken by this government. So if there are so many challenges, or if there are challenges, associated with many of these interventions that we need as a government to be able to correct and move on, then we do so. Because unfortunately, we have the largest opposition party that appears to be in shambles and is not really providing that needed scrutiny when it comes to government policies. So we would need the media to be able to give us that instructive feedback so that at least we can attempt a solution, a workable solution to the perennial problem of youth unemployment. It's something that we need to deal with. Also, I know as a matter of fact that the Youth Employment Agency is also rolling out a number of interventions intended to ensure that we keep our youth employed and engaged. That is something we must all be interested in as a republic and see how we can make many of these interventions sustainable jobs for our youth out there. Because if we are not careful as a country, we would go down the drain, and it will be because of our failure to create the needed opportunities for our youth. And so for me, that has been on my mind for some time now, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity this morning to share it.
That's nice to know. Let's talk about DSTV. And so you've definitely followed the sequence. We'll start from the clarification by DSTV yesterday, because up until yesterday, we understand that, of course, we didn't get a reduction in price. We got some sort of reduction, which is instead calculated economically as you get value in the service that you already have. I don't understand the math. Maybe you understand better to let us understand how that is some form of a reduction. I'm quite certain I'm not the only person in this confusion, and we all agree that there's some bit of confusion. And so let's try and get some clarity. Now, the consumer protection in this country, Kofi Kapita has said that in some countries, the minister would have gotten out of the kitchen if the heat is too hot. Many have also said that it is quite an anticlimax. Let me start with you, Hamza. Do you agree? And what's your position on how DSTV as well has been responding to statements or media engagements by the minister?
You see, I am struggling to understand the motive behind your question as to whether indeed there was a reduction or not.
Yeah, because
and I'll explain. MFA, I think I will explain. I understand, but I think I'll explain. You see, first of all, there's a need for us to understand that whatever the Honorable Sam George initiated was not intended for his own personal benefit. It was simply a desire by a minister of the Republic of Ghana, not a minister of the National Democratic Congress, who thought that the best way to represent the interests of my country, especially subscribers, is to take on DSTV with the hope that as a country we would rally around to give him the needed support to be able to succeed in that particular fight. He carried that fight through. Unfortunately, we all can pretend as much as we want, but at a point we left him alone in that battle. Many of us even began questioning why he was pushing it, as if he was rooting for a price reduction for his own personal benefit. And for me, this issue presents an opportunity for us to do deeper reflection as citizens of the Republic of Ghana, especially when it comes to our interests and how it is being championed by the very people that we have given opportunity to champion our interests. That is the sin of the Honorable Sam George, that is the minister responsible for communications, for simply daring to stand against a multinational corporation like DSTV to protect the interests of the Republic of Ghana. You see, and I've been monitoring the media discussions, and we've all known, we knew that there were going to be two outcomes. Whether he was going to be successful on behalf of the good people of this country, or DSTV would come out not barging, and so being successful at the end of the day. That has always been the issues when it comes to engagements when it comes to these kind of engagements with multinational corporations. And I think that even Kamal will agree.
No.
These two outcomes were bound, whether we would be successful or not. Now, the negotiations are still ongoing. And we are told by the minister responsible for communications that his engagement with DSTV has led to a review of the packaging in terms of their price range. So though you may not see an actual reduction in price, but you would see an increase in value in terms of what you would have been entitled to if you had paid using the old system. And my understanding is that this is in the interim. And the discussions and negotiations are still ongoing. And these processes are likely to be reviewed in a matter of 3 months or so.
What's in the interim?
Like the packages. That is my understanding.
By the communication from the DSTV or by the minister?
I think I read the communications from the DSTV.
Okay.
And they have indicated clearly that they are still even in the process of negotiations.
Yeah, but the minister...
Which will be subject to review.
The minister is clear in his mind that that value that you're getting is permanent. It's not...
So if the minister is saying that, it does not mean...
Even DSTV came out to confirm the minister's position later on.
Interestingly.
No, I've read the DSTV. I have a problem with the DSTV statement, and I'll get
it's quite ambiguous.
Yes, it's an ambiguous statement. That one, let's not pretend about it.
Have not.
But the point I'm making is that MFA, what the minister has his position. He says he's not ready to give in. Not so. DSTV says that they will still engage with the possibility of a future review. You cannot fault DSTV for having such aspirations or hopes. It does not mean that it will materialize. The minister could also wake up tomorrow and see another opening that he could take advantage of to further the interests of the Ghanaian people that could inure to our benefit. And he would say that, look, okay, I'm ready to engage if you can reduce this further. These are all possibilities. But unfortunately, we have decided to make the whole engagement a Sam George affair, and that is the problem.
I mean,
we are not making it.
What do you mean by, and I'm going to come to you, Camille, what do you mean by it's a Sam George affair?
Because you see,
because it must have, his decision to want to go on this battle must have been triggered by it's a need. Absolutely. It will be consumers that say that one way either not getting value or we have the value, but it is expensive. We cannot afford it. Otherwise, there's so many other things that he could have taken keen interest to if consumers didn't show a level of concern or their need for this particular fight. So while I acknowledge that, of course, the minister went into a war front for all of us, I don't think he just got up and decided that that's DSTV. I think I want to go on this fight. Absolutely. I like to think that we triggered it.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that.
And it must be in our interest.
But what has the minister done so far? That is not in your interest.
What he has done so far is that I need a reduction. Up on 1st October, if I pay 380 cedis for a certain package, I have said that because of my lifestyle and what the content I like that package on that particular subscription mode. And so, but the 380 cedis is quite expensive for me.
So you are nothing bars you from a consumer of the services of the DSTV to communicate to the minister responsible for communications that, look, minister, we appreciate your effort. You have put in a good fight. The needed support you should have gotten maybe from the media, you didn't. This time around, we are ready to partner you in that fight. But can you negotiate further to get us a better deal?
I wish
nothing bars you from making such demands of the minister.
And my
but if you, please, it's important. But if you decide to make the matter a Sam George after, if you personalize the struggle,
Hamza, here's why
it becomes a problem.
I'll come to you, Bennett.
You divide our front.
Do you know what?
And at the end of the day, DSTV will get away with it.
Because the minister is suggesting as though what you requested, I have it for you. It is you that's not understanding, questioning our comprehension of what he is going to negotiate.
I don't think that I listened to the minister on your platform, MFR. What the minister sought to make, the point he sought to make was that, look, we wanted a reduction. Yes, the reduction has come in terms of an increment with the packaging. That comes with it. And you disagree. Yes. So I'm coming. You have disagreed with the minister's explanation. You understand? You are still engaging with the minister. You don't personalize the fight. You don't personalize the struggle. Nothing even still bars you from making an official position, either in the form of a letter and say that, look, Minister, we acknowledge. You see, when someone is pushing an agenda for you and brings you results that you are not even, you had no expectations for, the most responsible and reasonable thing to do is to acknowledge and tap such a person in the back. Look, you brought 50% results, but we needed 100%. So let's go more. So the person is encouraged to go more. But if you put the person in a situation that makes him feel that his effort is not being appreciated, we are human in nature. I would want to demonstrate to you that my effort has been... look, I put in my very best. Okay. But even with that, you see, Apia Dankwa made one important point, and I agree fully with him, about the need to allow institutions to work.
We'll come to that, the recommendation.
You understand? I agree fully with him. Because I'm sure that if we had allowed the institutions to be in charge of this particular transaction, the personalization would have been taken out of our engagement with DSTV.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Okay. Come out. Why aren't you patting the minister at the back? At least this is something, is it not?
I will not on any day pat the minister on the back on this matter and on this issue. My brother, I can appreciate his struggle this morning. It's not really easy to defend.
It doesn't look like
of course,
struggling. The guy has white on and he has white on.
And I'll point to why.
So when it comes to their terms, I allow them.
Okay.
I'll point to why he's struggling. First of all, he says that Ghanaians have actually made the fight a St. George's fight.
No.
Wait a minute.
No, I won't allow you to misspeak.
I heard you. We listened to you.
I said that if, you see, sometimes it's basic English.
I am not.
Personalize the fight. And I was making that statement in direct response to an interview on this platform.
I said, you can make the point without pointing basic English. It looks like you people are becoming notorious. In using comprehension.
Of course.
With the MPP, of course, I should.
Why? Because I also understood
he misquoted me. Didn't I say if? You can play back the video with the greatest of respect.
Okay.
If you want to paint us in a certain light, I beg you, you can play it back.
Are you going to moderate the show?
We'll go with it.
Are you going to moderate the show?
We'll go with the if.
We will go with the if, or that was what I said.
Okay, if. Come on, put your point.
The last time I checked, countries where they don't even speak English are better off. Countries where English is not spoken are better off. The last time I checked, anyway. But
then the
comprehension,
the regime you left.
With a good respect, comprehension is an act. And of course, we all understand it. And of course, like I said, you sat here this morning to say that it appears we've made this fight look like St. George's fight against the DSP. I mean, the DSTV, people, which shouldn't be the case. First of all, let us all agree that when this matter came up, St. George had the backing of the public. And I'm happy you pointed to him that he didn't just get up to start such negotiations. It was triggered because people like us, subscribers, the public, were outraged and were not happy about how we are being shortchanged. Okay, as subscribers in Ghana, making the comparative analysis with other countries. That's what brought about this fight. And St. George was emphatic when he set off. He was grounded under Section 25 of the Electronic Communication Act, which talks about tariffs, and which says that where you have a monopoly, a player who is actually enjoying monopoly, it is important that you institute a regime through an authority, in this case NCA, to check if prices are actually so high and to check if the interest of the Ghanaian public is being served. He was grounded based on that. Yeah. For my brother to want to say that St. George as a person was left in the end, it is his duty. He owes us the duty of care as a minister. For God's sake, he's paid by our public purses. They use our public or taxes to pay him. He's there for us. So if you triggered this negotiation or this fight for us, supported, and we supported you, and then you were emphatic as to what demand we're making, reduction. You even promised Ghanaians that you're going to secure 30% reduction or more.
Okay,
please.
Kamal, indulge me a bit.
Yeah.
on this promise by the minister, we agree with you the nuances when it comes to negotiations with businesses or entities that are private owned in this country, if it's not a state owned or a public one, where you can just issue a directive. So does it look to you as though, of course, the minister had some wish, had some desire? Of course, I think he would be so excited if indeed DSTV was able to reduce it. But when on the negotiation table, and then the negotiation didn't go in favor specifically for reduction, but gave us something, at least, do you recognize the nuances?
My profound statement I made was you set off with a promise. Which promise was to seek for reduction. And yourself, Sam George, is on record to have said that his matter was not to seek for value addition. His matter was to seek for reduction in prices.
But seeking is not a demand, right? Seeking is you're wishing, no? You're searching, you're finding.
This is a fight, like I said, of everybody, all the public. Those of us who are subscribers, okay, to the boxes of DSTV, supported. Myself, I am on record to have supported it when he initiated it. Many have done same. Now you gave us an emphatic promise. You say, okay, we shouldn't hold him to it. But I think that it's important we hold the minister to his words. Now, he said that he was going to seek for a reduction. There are two things here. And they are lawyers. They're here. What is the specific performance that he was actually seeking from DSTV? Reduce prices. That was the specific performance, seeking for them. Assuming that you made that offer, and they also come to say that we are making a counter offer, that we cannot touch prices, but we are really going to do what we call value, if you like, addition. That becomes a counter offer. It nullifies what you have actually put forward.
Okay.
Completely. Now, our point is that here is that, and they know it, it's basic in contract law. And I'm saying,
I don't know whether they have an enforceable contract for us to want to speak.
No, for God's sake, negotiations are more or less coming out with terms, and the other person coming out with terms.
Okay.
What are the negotiations? I told you that he set off he was grounded under the law first.
Right.
Look at Section 25 of the Electoral Act. So he set off with that. That was how come he issued threats that if you don't even oblige, we are going to take you off. Because he thought that he had authority to do that.
Okay.
He issued those
That's
threats.
a good point of
and I'm saying, if you had set off with 1, the promise, 2, you're clothed with the law, then 3, you had the authority to also deal with. Now, it gave space for negotiation. And in the course of the negotiation, your terms were that I'm seeking price reduction to what? Cushion Ghanaians. Only for DSTV, who you actually gave your demand, gave your threats, whatever, come back to you and then made you a press conference leader to announce to Ghanaians that, look, the price reduction we are seeking is not what we are getting. We are rather going to get what value addition. So if you were paying 865 for this particular bouquet, this time around, that bouquet is going to include more channels for you. Really?
If I come to Andy,
what are we doing?
I'll stay with you a bit. Do you find it a bit interesting and quite cunning on the side of DSTV with the responses? For example, where they're quite heavily present at that press statement or that press briefing headed by the minister. Then the minister comes to announce, because there are two issues here, whether or not there's reduction and whether or not the value addition that they have provided is going to be permanent.
Absolutely.
Or is going to be quarterly.
Very good.
Now, the minister says in that statement that, well, I've given you value, I've done that. However, we're going to be looking at the cross-border piracy. Thank you so much. Then, a day after, DSTV puts out something on their website, which is the frequently asked questions, that seeks to discredit nearly what the minister said.
Absolutely.
We start to probe that one.
Yes.
Then they come back to say they clarify. Now, what has my attention is that they have said, we fully support the joint media statement that was issued by the Honorable Minister, Honorable Sam George, and implementation of same as already commenced. What does it mean?
You see,
what does it mean?
What they are doing is that, for me, subtly, they have succeeded in getting the minister on their side, okay, to scam Ghanaians. As simple as that.
What does that mean?
They have succeeded in getting the minister to agree to their, provision of some more channels or whatever value that you're talking about, okay? Now, having accepted that, they come back again to tell us that, look, as a business, we usually embark on promotions.
Yes.
And we cannot say here emphatically that what even we have presented or what the minister announced is going to be what? permanent.
But how do you feel about DSTV and this clarification?
I should feel about Sam George. Sam George is there because I am paying taxes for him to pay. He's my minister.
No, but
and he actually took up this, and you have the laws in this country. I just cited Section 25. Read it further. It tells you that where you feel there's monopoly in the system and the transaction is not right, and the Ghanaians are being shortchanged, you have the right and you have the authority to get that particular institution to buy it.
So two things.
In pricing.
You're concerned with the pricing.
And has he done that? No.
You have a concern with the pricing?
Yes.
That's one.
Not me. All of us are concerned. We wanted the reduction in prices. That's what we wanted.
Then there's a concern as to whether this value addition, you know why?
We didn't talk about value addition.
No, because
in the
if you
first
take
place.
about 10 Ghanaians who use this luxury product,
Yes.
which we're going to go into anyway, because this is luxury, and if
Yes.
you decide to want to go on DSTV bouquet, there's only so much that the minister can do, I think. But if you go on that, if you take about 10 Ghanaians, 3 of them will say that, well, we're okay with the price. The value addition is what I need.
You see, you are building hypothesis here. I'm not sure you have done any research to prove this. What Ghanaians wanted, with all respect, what Ghanaians wanted was reduction in prices.
All of us?
Simple.
All of us?
Well, I am saying what was on the table. What did we know? What was in the news? What was in the news was that Sam George was advancing a cause for we Ghanaians to reduce prices, and even went further to cite countries like Nigeria and other countries where he felt that Ghana's, the amount we are paying in Ghana would be shortchanged. Finito. That was the matter. Now, only for you to come now and tell us that, yes, we push, finally we are getting value addition. So what it means is that we're going to get more channels. And I simply ask the question, more channels to your bouquet doesn't mean price reduction. As simple as that. This is basic. So if you have failed, you have failed. But you see, the arrogance, the impudence that the minister come to even sit in your studio again and call people incompetent when you failed on the face of it, I think it's pathetic.
Andy, how do you feel about this?
In fact,
I see two line of arguments. Price reduction, whether or not we received it. I've been seeing the minister trying to put a certain economical imputations to that amounts to a reduction. Truly, I'm confused.
Okay.
I don't know if you can explain to me how that will mean.
Yeah.
That's one. Then 2, after giving the value, which I like to think, though I have not done any data analysis, I like to think there's 1 or 2 persons who are just okay because people are on premium though. People are on premium. They could have chosen Paddy, Access, or Family or anything, but they chose premium, which suggests to me that people are not quite concerned. Some people are not concerned about the amount. They are concerned about value.
Yeah.
In fact, Nanaya Jantwa is on record to have said that, what do they give? They only show the same content, which means that there's a concern with value. So if the minister has at least giving us some value, the next concern is it permanent or it's not permanent?
It's not. Yeah, very good point.
DSTV comes to say that it's just a promotion, it's that. Then they come back to say that we agree. What's the optics look like for you?
Okay, so let me start once again by commending Sam George for a good job done. Secondly, I seem to understand what he means by the fact that there has been some form of reduction. Okay. So now let me give an example. I'm sure, please, what bouquet are you on? You on
just go ahead with your submission.
Okay.
No, because he's on DSTV.
Yeah. You supposing
well for interpretation.
No. Supposing he's on premium, or supposing anybody is on premium. Now the premium pricing was going for 865 Ghana cedis. No, so. Now Sam George is telling us that somebody who is on Compact Plus, which is at 570, will now enjoy what's called the channels being granted by the premium, which is 850. Is that not the case?
Answer your question. Whether it's permanent?
Let's do a first issue first. No, because we are in the reduction in prices. No. Come on. When you're speaking, you understand? You understand? So let's say somebody's on premium, he's paying 850. Now Sam George is telling us that if somebody's on Compact Plus, which is 570, the person has been shifted onto the package of the premium one. Now, if you're on premium, MFA, won't you go and start subscribing the Compact Plus? Because the Compact Plus now at 570 will give you what the 850 used to give you.
Interestingly, DSTV well, says that even when they pulled out the frequently asked question, which tried to address this one, they still maintain the position when the question was asked, can you downgrade? Because as it stands, when you're premium, there's nothing more to add. So at least if you are access, you can upgrade, or if you don't even upgrade, the value will be added for you. But the question is, can you downgrade?
Yesterday,
they sought to answer the question, which I need clarification.
In fact, yesterday around, I was listening to your news at 7, and the impression I got from their new communique was the fact that now you can downgrade.
I do not have that communication. It suggests as though they advise. You see, they were not clear. They said that we advise that you don't downgrade. We advise that you stay.
But it's still but the impression I'm getting is because you see, nothing stops you as an imperial from downgrading. So for me, probably was that the impression I had yesterday after their last communique. You know, they came to apologize and was that nothing stops you from downgrading. Now,
the communique which they gave was just in response to their position. But when you visit the website, that point over there on your screen, if you downgrade to lower package, the question is, will I still be able to participate in the offer? Here's the answer. It's advisable that a customer either stays on their current package or upgrade to a higher package to take up the offer.
Listen to the ambiguity.
Does this mean that you can downgrade? Lawyers?
It is very, was it advice?
Yeah.
What is
it's advice. So
please,
please allow him come out.
So I think that these are some of the bottleneck issues. These are some of the issues that some judge.
I still want clarity, Hamza.
Yeah, because from this.
I was in your consulting room this morning. What would you think?
It's an advice because that's why I'm a bit challenged when it comes to how it operates because I have not been in it since the fight started. But I know as a matter of fact that in the past you could actually opt to pay for less.
Less, exactly.
Even though you were on a higher.
And get less.
Yes, I have done that and get less. So it is possible for you to downgrade. So if that is your understanding, if my understanding of downgrade is something to.
Exactly. My understanding that makes if you decide to
I'm coming.
Okay.
Now, so yesterday, DSTV also in one of their communications changed the word offer. I think you can also verify that.
So they changed from promotion to offer.
No. So I think we need clarification.
Oh my God.
Because last night there were a number of saying this and saying that. But having said that. I think that for me, it's not enough for us or for people to be going after some joy like they are going. I think that he's taking a good step. We should push him and we should support him and then get all these clarifications because then that will answer the question whether or not, one, there has been real reduction in terms of the economy of it, and two, in terms of the value. I think I seem to understand your position because I can bet my last person that the reason why a lot of people choose, let's say, the kind of packages they choose is not necessarily because they don't want the content. It's because that's what they can afford.
I think as well, what suits your lifestyle. I don't watch football. So I'm not happy if it is added to the package.
But there are a lot of people also who choose the packages they choose not necessarily because of lifestyle, but because they can't afford.
See, that's my problem.
No.
Why can't you have a middle ground? And the middle ground then that will be price, which affects all of us. So that we're not debating about what's...
And that's why I'm saying that my understanding from what happened, transpired throughout the day yesterday, was to the effect that, listen, there was some economic gain in terms of if I want premium, I can afford premium. Or if I'm at premium, it's too expensive for me, I'll downgrade to the Compact Plus, and I'll be enjoying the premium package. Now, it turns out that there's a lot of confusion there because they are saying advice. What do they mean by advice? And so it's for us to push the minister to. But for me, I think that is not the big story. I'm still insisting that the big story is not what some judge.
What brings to the fore
the big
about
story? No, the big story, exactly. Because when you go to serious countries, you go to USA, and even in some countries, in South Africa and Kenya, they have a huge antitrust institutions who fight against competitions, who fight for consumer protection and all.
But the consumer protection, their head says that in some serious country, because you have also just cited a few serious countries, that the minister would have walked out.
Absolutely.
Should have resigned.
But for me, that is even the story. We don't have, you see, but that's even, I'm coming back, but you see,
because you
for
make a promise.
Listen, no, but that's still the smaller.
How did
issue.
he deceive you?
We don't have. We don't have. You see, we don't have institutions that fight against competition or anti-competition. We don't have institutions that protect the consumers. We don't have an antitrust.
Consumer protection.
What we have, the Consumer Protection Act, one big law that creates in one body this job. It's been lying on the shelves because there's a bill since like 2020, since like 2000. We don't have an antitrust institution in Ghana here. We don't have, because it shouldn't be some judge. And that's why my brother was talking about over personalizing the issues. For me, I was thinking that what happened would cause a massive conversation to be had on the need for us to create serious institutions that will be dealing with because we beyond the price, the economy of it, as in the pricing, government also loses a lot of money because there are so many people in Ghana here who go and buy their what's it called, decoders from Nigeria.
Yes.
Pay, you understand?
Yeah.
And that's a parity issue. Yeah. And it's because of how the extent of the disparity between the pricing here in Ghana and
Hamza, what does this come to you like? For example, I do not think that if the minister had that wholesome power to really call for price reduction, he would be going about negotiating or bargaining or anything. What does this introduce us to? That it looks as though we have certain laws, but they are not very strong enough to want to make emphatic decisions when it comes to businesses such as this one.
I think, MFA, I was a bit lost listening to Kamal, and of course the narrative that he attempted to paint. I listened to the minister from day one. He said that as a minister responsible for communications, he was convinced that what was happening within the DSTV pricing system was unacceptable. And so he would engage and ensure that he gets a better deal for Ghana. He was clear. He was clear. And like I indicated, engaging and getting a better deal, the outcome could be subjective. He wanted price reduction. He insists that what he has presented before us is price reduction. And like my brother has explained, you simply cannot fault the logic that indeed if you are on premium or compact and you can have access to premium for less, that is a reduction in terms of what you used to pay. And if you're on premium and you decide to come back to compact, so if you are paying $850 and you come back to compact and get the premium package for $570, that's a reduction of about 200 Ghana cedis for you. Ghanaians are also okay to consider that as something that they do not feel as a reduction. And that's why I was saying that we should not personalize the MFA. So if you say that, look, Honorable Sam George, what you have presented before us, we do not consider it a reduced package and engage further. I have no problem with it. But my problem is with the personalization. I monitor the interview, and you see, those of us in the media too must be careful. And you sought to do the same thing to me this morning. We must be careful because I monitor the interview from beginning to the end. And I can see this.
Exactly
please.
I'm right here.
Yes.
What's the challenge?
Yes. About, you see, I'll get there. I monitor that interview, and I can see the attempt to solidarize and sympathize with a colleague. And so when we are doing so, we must distance that.
You lost me.
I'll make you get me, please. We must distance that from the issues, the germane issues. Because even when I made references, when I attempted to correct him about his attempt to give an imputation to me that I didn't say, about when I used the word if, what did you say? You said, why are you people on this tangent? Because you people have a certain mindset on the gentleman because of what happened in your studios yesterday, and it's not fair.
I won't let this pass.
Not fair.
It's not fair.
You could have just,
I also decided not to let your position go.
No, you could have just made your position by not using this is basic English.
Absolutely.
That's my concern.
Listen.
That's where I am attacking. I am not coming at your if or was. I think you could have just.
I told him that if he should stop it. I spoke basic. But are we not speaking basic English on this?
We're not speaking basic English. If we're speaking basic English, we won't be on TV trying to understand the confusion of reduction or
No. It was in relation to my use of the word if. And I said that this is basic.
Hamza, what's particular?
It was conditional. If not conditional, it's not basic.
So
but that's why I'm saying that. You see, my disappointment is the attempt to confuse our solidarity with the germane issues that we must be talking about.
Which is?
Which is about the price reduction, whether there's a reduction or not.
There's no.
And what we can do to secure a reduction if we feel strongly that there's no reduction.
But this is my personal confusion. I'm not
the germane issues that there's no
that I'm going to buy a tin of milk. All right, I need a tin of milk to do my regular.
Joy is on a certain tangent on this.
What does that mean?
God! And I am saying that look, whatever the differences would have been, it is important for you guys to engage further with the minister responsible for communications. If you have any differences with him, try as much as possible to resolve the differences and let us concentrate on the germane issue.
That is a strategy to shift the argument somewhere.
Why would
I understand, Hamza.
What are they? You see, that is a mistake you are making. I'm not against the position of Joy FM.
What's the position?
As a brand. Okay, you feel like there has not been a reduction.
That's not what we're saying. We're only asking
that's what it is.
Questions.
So even if you are asking fair questions, I can understand your position.
Hamza,
and I'm telling you that whatever differences you have with the minister,
the whole time.
because I monitored the interview, it is in our interest for you to sit down, resolve those differences, and let us concentrate on the issues that matter.
You heard me ask Kamal, why aren't they patting the minister in the back for at least the value?
And I said, because I pushed for it.
We will not. What?
I pushed. I insisted that, look, you see, I made a call that there's a need for us, even if someone is championing the cause for you, there's the need for you to at least pat the person in the back. When he brings the results, and tell him that, look, this one, we don't accept it. But I thought that the engagement was confrontational in nature. And I'm not blaming you entirely. That is not to say that the minister is without blame on the matter. I am saying that if there's a way, you guys can engage.
Which guys?
Engage, like Joy FM and minister responsible for communication. And let us focus on their personalization.
What personalization?
We can all pretend, but it is palpable, it is clear.
Hamza, did you watch
Can you make
the whole brief for them?
No, I did.
But did you watch
I did.
And did you see the posture?
But
the minister himself.
Did you see the posture? Did you hear me say that? I cannot pretend.
Both of you.
I cannot sit here and pretend that the minister is without blame.
Both of you.
I can't.
Did you see his posture?
But I'm saying that let them engage so that we can focus on the issues.
Hamza, Kamal, I moderate this conversation. And people are watching you. They think that this conversation is not well moderated. They feel free to comment.
I don't see your fault this morning. Hamza has.
I'm even saying that the minister has engaged severally on our platform, both on Top Story, both on PM Express. Which one are you?
I'm talking about the Evans Mensah.
You're talking about Evans Mensah. Which part of the interview did suggest to you that there is an attempt to want to? Which part of the interview?
There's an attempt to ask that.
Which part of the interview is a concern about the Evans Mensah one?
The entire interview. I saw the confrontation.
My advice is that we should advance on this matter. Let's advance on this matter.
Yes.
I will respond to him.
It is suggesting as though Joy News is on a certain agenda. And that's my confusion, because the moment there's confusion in understanding, there's a problem with your communication. Do you understand?
That's why you think.
But I have asked Andy.
And I am telling
you, is there a reduction in any way?
There's no reduction. Simple.
Andy has sought to want to explain. What's the challenge this morning?
With what?
No.
Andy has sought to explain that. Is there a reduction? Because we're just going straight with words. We can't impute. He said 30%.
You see, MFA, you are still
missing the
concern and expression. You see, we can all sit around this table and pretend.
I will not accept you suggest that Joy is on a certain agenda.
That's my opinion. Look, that is my opinion. Unless, of course, you will have a problem. You see, you brought us here to express opinions, not just
table this morning. Not palatable.
We are also allowed. We are also allowed. Are you going to allow me to make my case?
The matter on the table is not palatable.
Allow me to make
it's not equally palatable for some George. So I can understand you. You understand? So I can understand Hamza. Seriously. The matter isn't palatable. So
what is not palatable? What is not
the issue here?
Please.
Are you
now the host of the program?
I'm not the host of the program.
I'm
a discussant like you. And of course, just as you have the right.
I'll call for a break if both of you do not. Let's moderate this conversation. Let's have a very civil conversation.
So he spent his time to.
I was quite listening to you.
Let's have a civil conversation.
Okay, we will.
Hamza, again, in very simple, basic English, let us understand.
Steve underlined.
not ad hominem arguments.
You see the posture of joy. And I will continue to say it. If there's anything anybody knows about me in this country, it's my ability to speak my mind, no matter who's.
If there's anything anybody knows,
and I can tell you as a matter of principle.
Everyone has.
Oh, why, if you won't allow me to speak my mind, then why did you bring me here?
No, I give condition.
That one.
I think you decide to hear what you want to hear.
No, it is just like you. I said that I'm entitled to express my opinion. You don't want me to exercise
by the end.
Guess what?
When a matter is difficult for them, they resort to what we call ad hominem arguments.
Guess what?
So to throw off gear whatever you are doing.
Hamza.
You understand? So let us stay put.
Hamza. Hamza.
It's the NDC. No, I'm not.
Hamza.
English. It's basic English.
Whilst you're very entitled to your opinion. Whilst you're very entitled to your opinion. You cannot pass opinions at all on any opinion at all. You agree, right?
I agree.
So you agree when I say.
But if it is legal, provided that it is not illegal.
You're providing legal
I'm allowed, but you are also allowed to counter.
Okay, let's make progress.
To counter.
Let's make progress.
I don't have a problem with
Let's make progress. I'm saying that whilst we're patting the minister in the back, what bigger conversation is this bringing to the fore?
You see, like he indicated, the bigger conversation it is bringing to the fore is our ability to let our institutions work.
Okay,
in all honesty, many of us are members of the National Democratic Congress, but I had a principled problem with the decision of the minister to be the face of that struggle. You know, in all honesty, from day one, I thought that the National Communications Authority and other institutions mandated under our law should have taken up that matter. Yes. And so I was not comfortable with it. And that is why I'm saying that I agree fully with senior counsel, and there's the need for us to move that discourse to that level.
Yeah. Okay, let me come
and focus on the germane issues and try as much as possible to do away with the personalization. Whoever is the cause of that personalization, let's do it away. Let's do away. It's not helping us. Focus on the germane issue.
Exactly what else is the minority asking for?
I think when we read or when I follow bits and pieces of the communication coming from the minority, their worry, and not just only the minority. Most of us had such worries out there. My point is that the approach by the minister in the first place was not too good. Okay? Now, if you look at it, you are supposed to serve our interests. You owe us that duty of care, which I mentioned earlier on. Now, if you're going to advance our cause for us, carry us along. He had a glaring opportunity to succeed in this matter. Do you know what it means for the public to say we are all shutting off our boxes belonging to DSTV?
Your man is
do you know what that
works in lyrical with his new acquired.
Do you know what that means?
Duty of care in thought and all.
You understand? Do you know what that means? Now, if you had carried the public along and the consumer protection societies and whatever other civil society organizations come together with you, and your approach is that of cool-headedness. Meet them, use the law, tell them that, look, our people are complaining. Based on this law, we can mandate the institution, in this case, NCA, to go into pricing regime with you. As simple as that would have gotten there. But you see, when you
a law already that suggests
that law is there.
You cannot really alter or adjust your price unless, of course, it goes back to
I think read very well Section 25 of the Electronic and Communication Act. It mandates at least the institution, in this case, NCA regulates. You understand? Where there's monopoly, where there's, if you like, a single company, embarking on a particular service, it mandates them to go into pricing regime in order not to shortchange the public. It's there. It's clear. Okay, but I'm saying that if the approach wasn't too good, you give them the opportunity to feel that we are enjoying monopoly and therefore we can do whatever we want to do. And that's where we actually got to as a people and as a country. And that's how come my brother Sam George failed.
Why I'm quite concerned about your position as well is that I see that because there are two stakeholders, there are two characters on this chain. In fact, many characters, the provider of the service, the minister who is ensuring that both the provider and the receiver as well are in good standing, right? Yeah. But you seem to be very interested in only the minister, but you're not interested in the posture of DSTV as well. Because I've actually reminded you that beyond what the minister has, in fact, we're going to show you the video where the minister himself said what he said. So it's not that we're the ones
at a point,
quoting him.
Do you know?
We'll show you what the minister says. That is very specific. Then we also have the statement by DSTV, because if you follow the conversation in the media and public domain, of course, whilst people are maybe borrow Hamza's word, personalizing it, we seem to be leaving the other player out, which is DSTV. But first of all, Kamal, Hamza, stop pressing your phone.
No, you asked me a question.
Let's watch this video.
Oh my God. No, which one are we dealing with?
I will meet with the Ghana and South Africa team in my office, and I'm clear in my mind that meeting will not come to an end without a reduction, an agreed reduction in the price. I have seen the attempt by the South African management to say that when you buy a package, they should upgrade you to the next one. We are grateful, but that's not what we want. We want a price reduction. And that's what we will push tomorrow at tomorrow's meeting. And I'll update the country as soon as we're done with that.
Right. So,
Come on.
So you have just seen the video.
I've seen the video,
Yes,
and I can see the hostility.
So you asked me a question. Why are we not on DSTV and we are rather on the minister? Two players here.
Yeah, because
the minister is on our side.
Yeah.
And then the minister assured us that he was working for us. And here, the video you just played, he again reiterated that, look, we are in for price reduction and not whatever bouquet.
He said we want. When you want something, you tell me that we give.
That's what we want. We want price reduction.
But it's not yours. You can't. I mean, if it's not yours, the other part.
Back to the basic English we're talking about. Back to the basic English we're talking about.
Okay, now
back to the basic English.
Now, Hamza, your word has been used, basic English.
Back to the basic English we're talking about. What is the basic English?
I just want to ask.
I just want to ask one question.
To make it's a simple question. So supposing somebody buys DSTV today and then subscribes to Compact Plus at $570, would a person not be enjoying a premium package? No, it's a question I'm asking.
Ask the question again. If somebody buys a decoder today and chooses a Compact
Plus, would a person not be enjoying premium package?
Which is the position the minister rejected?
No, I'm asking. Will a person not be enjoying premium?
You can't
based
ask
on
him
their
questions.
promotion.
No, let me ask.
You can't ask him questions.
The answer based on the
You
promotion.
can't ask him.
Yes.
You can throw the question.
I can answer.
Yeah.
Based on the promotion.
Listen. Yes.
Okay.
Based on the promotion. Yes.
Would that not amount to a price reduction?
Is the promotion permit?
Oh, would that not amount to? Would that not amount to a price?
Well, that's you are the lawyer.
It's an extra value.
Confusion about invitation.
Come on.
Listen,
Listen. Listen. I'm coming.
It will not.
No. So the person.
I don't need this.
Come on. Kamadin, when you're
Why?
speaking, please control Kamadin.
Okay, come on.
Because I disagree with a lot of things.
Go ahead.
But I kept
I was very quiet listening to you.
Okay,
today
gentlemen,
you started to be interjecting. So yes,
all of you are guilty.
No, I'm not guilty of that. I'm not guilty of that.
Andy is not. Andy,
that's what
proceed.
happens.
Yeah, I'm saying that supposing somebody goes today and buys DSTV, subscribes to the Compact Plus package, the person will be enjoying the premium package. That means that the person will be enjoying premium package, which previously was $865, but today will be $570. You understand? Would that not amount to a price reduction? Also, it is. I don't even understand why this argument about permanency or not.
You don't understand.
Let me land. Because nothing. We are in a free, what's called economy. Some judge does not have that power to say that DSTV don't ever attempt to alter your pricing. I'm saying that in this economy, in this system, some judge does not have the power to order DSTV that after what we have agreed, you do not have the power ever.
So why was he threatening to shut them down?
So this is the conversation I want us to have.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I was saying
that the law allows.
Why was he threatening to shut them down?
Listen.
Whether there's a threat or not, let's face the
that's
fact.
why.
He said he has no power.
That's what I'm talking about.
Why was he then threatening to shut them down?
Oh,
You keep quiet.
That's why MFI was concerned about the decision on the part of the minister to be the face of that engagement. Because I knew many of these questions were likely to come up. But my decision to pardon him is because I can understand the activism that drove it and the need probably he had in mind to be able to meet the expectations of the Ghanaian people. But I think that with this kind of experience, he himself would begin to appreciate that in many of these instances, it is better to push your institutional heads to go
and to speak less.
But if he doesn't, even if he wasn't the one doing it and anybody spoke, it would be definitely on behalf of that sector.
Yes, it will be on behalf of the sector. But you see, if there's a fallback, there's a way the minister can come in to sanitize the situation. And that's why I made reference to the personalization, which you are not comfortable
with. Does that not amount to...
You see, and that is why I made references to that, and you are not comfortable about it. You see, in truth, I have listened to this video. It can be basis for you to ask legitimate questions as to what we are now being offered now. And let the minister explain why the change in position. It is fair. It is a fair question to ask. And I expected that. You see, I saw this video after
we're not having a discussion this morning.
No. You see, you were not listening to me from day one. And that's my problem with that. That's why I said that. That's what I've been saying. That's why I said that. That's why I said that. That's why I said that. If we take out the personalization, we begin to tick all the boxes and see how we can at least fine-tune the engagement going forward. And for me...
Come with me. If you recall that interview, both with Bernard and as well with Evans... And correct me if I'm wrong.
I watched the Evans one. I didn't watch the
Okay, let's stay with the Evans one then. Correct me if I'm wrong. The minister, you know, you are asking, you're suggesting that we should ask legitimate questions. That, okay, well, you promised
I said
this.
we can.
We can.
I didn't say that in that interview you didn't ask legitimate questions.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about I'm yet to go to my question. That we can ask legitimate questions watching this video, right? Why the change in position? As to you wanted price cuts, but you're getting value. If you listen to the interview, Evans sought to ask that question, that why the change in position? My understanding of the minister's response is that there's no change in position. I have delivered what you asked for.
And you see, and that was where the confusion was, because the minister was still very clear, like Apia Danko has done this morning, because Apia Danko also believes
I believe
that there's a reduction. And he's carried many of us along, because I also believe if I was on premium paying 870, and I can pay 560 now at compact and get it, it's a reduction. But what I'm saying is that, look, I listened to it. And my point is that those questions that you are asking are legitimate, especially considering the content of the video you have just played. They are legitimate. So we can have further discussions as to whether this is the end of the matter. Or there's the need for us to continue to demand more from the Ministry of Communications.
Or clarity.
I don't have any problem with it. Because you see,
Are there more questions? Especially because we engaged the communications director for DSTV.
I sincerely believe that there are more questions. MFR, you see, for example, that is my concern. Because we are focusing on Sam George and the Ministry of Communications. The conduct of DSTV, the conduct of DSTV is today not being given the needed attention because of the tussle Sam George encountered yesterday.
Because of his posture.
Oh, please.
Come on. Say it. You just, is it
come on.
I'm the moderator. I am the moderator.
So,
and I've asked severally.
I think the show is for Hamza this morning, right?
It appears that
the show is for Hamza this morning. No, I believe. No, I'm listening. I am listening to myself, seriously. I'm saying the show is not for Hamza.
Do you know why? Because the explanation lies with them. Do you understand me? It's only fair that I stay with you because the explanation lies with them, the NDC.
In all honesty, the conduct of DSTV comes across as though it has been engineered to take all of us for granted. To beat the system, of which even the minister himself could be a victim. And for me, I want us to concentrate on the activities of DSTV. How many statements, immediately after the press statement, they came out with their so-called announcement of a package for, promo that will last in December. Then the subsequent statement they released, there was tentatively no difference. The so-called attempted statement to clarify. I read it. There was really no difference. It was just a change in terminologies. But there was no difference with the promotion that they announced earlier on their website. And so these are the questions we should be asking. And I think if the minister responsible for communications is listening, and the National Communications Authority, they need to further engage DSTV on this matter.
Okay. Kamal, do you agree? So you know why?
Assuming...
Because I think we've gone past assumptions. We're faced with the facts.
Allow me to answer the question.
So,
first, ask me, do I agree?
No, but she hasn't finished the question.
But in fact, I'm asking, do you agree? And you say assuming. But
I thought you were referring to what the comments made by Hamza. Whether you were asking me...
Do you agree that further engagement, that's one, and the conduct of DSTV, do you know why? Because I have not stopped you from holding the minister by his belt. That whether there's reduction or no reduction, and it's not the minority that's only probing. The public is also probing. Why? And they start from the premise of what is a suggestive confusion. Okay? So I don't think you're far from your legitimate questions. Oh, he didn't deliver 30% and all of that. I've not flawed it. But on this same table in the conversation are other characters we must pay attention to. And I've been asking you that for DSTV, doesn't matter at all, especially because there's evidence of the fact that they have come to say they are clarifying. Does it come to you? I hear you say posture.
Fundamentally, what triggered this discourse or this whole fight? It is because public were not happy. It is because subscribers to DSTV in Ghana were not happy about prices. That's what triggered it fundamentally. Now, the question is whether we are going to fault DSTV for now giving us value instead of the reduction that we asked for, or we are going to go after the minister who promised us 30% reduction with what clothed with the laws that he has and the powers that he has. Two things. Excuse me, please. Now, the question is, you asked whether or not, why are we not going after DSTV? And then we are staying put with going after the minister. Two issues at par here. I mean, we are fighting on here. We're fighting for reduction. DSTV, at least, is supposed to ensure that the reduction that we are asking for as part of the public is indeed given. The minister says, look, I am with you, and I'm going to help you fight. I will lead in that negotiation. In the end, we didn't get what we wanted. So when you ask me, whether we are faulting DSTV, okay, I will say yes, we are faulting DSTV too as well. Because we are not happy because the reduction that we're asking for, DSTV hasn't done it. But why are we after the minister? We are after the minister because he actually championed the agenda for us and assured us that it was going to happen. Now, having gotten to the level where he himself said that, look, we are not in any way going to accept value, which we all agreed, and then at the end of the day, the value is what they have given us, and he has moved his position.
So would you rather the minister mount a podium and say that I'm going into a negotiation, but you see, let's see what will come out? Of course, I think everybody will go into a negotiation with some form of assurances. You know what? I'm going with 30% reduction. I'm going for 30 or 25, 10, 50, and that is what we want. That's what I'm going with. This is the posture I see with the minister. If the minister goes to the negotiation table and comes back and says that indeed I went, this is what I wanted, I assured you that I was going to get it for you. Because of course, what option would he have anyway? He must give you that assurances, but comes back to say that, well, this is what I got. I want to see how you think that his posture should have been different.
Interesting.
Help me.
You said
do you understand my question?
Assured you that I am going into the negotiation with a demand. Which demand is that price cut or reduction.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He himself, even at the point of going into that negotiation, said that, look, we are not going to accept any value addition. He himself, per the video you played.
Of course, because you must have one
only
that
to
you're
go
going
into that negotiation
table with,
then
right?
came back to tell you that I have not gotten the price reduction, I have gotten value addition, however, it's an achievement.
Is it not?
Really?
No. It could be. It is an achievement, but not what you, the consumer, want.
So that's the point.
Andy, let me.
First of all, I agree with Kamal when he says that we, the people of Ghana, have not been happy with DSTV for a very long time. But the unhappiness didn't start from 2025. The unhappiness with DSTV was there way before, and the minister then, and the MP didn't do anything. The MP didn't do anything. So that's the first point that needs to be made. Now, secondly, you see, now, the minister, he said, so far as Sam George is concerned, he's delivered on the price reduction he promised. Understand? I agree with Sam George's position. Now, however, there seems to be confusion, legit confusion in the system. And that's why I'm saying that, for me, the smaller question is the need for clarity. Because DSTV hasn't helped. You hold a press conference with the minister. It's not as if the minister did a press conference by himself. You hold the press conference with the minister. He gives a certain information, which, in my opinion, amounted to a price reduction. Mm-hmm. Well, the information Sam George
as for whether it amounts to the price reduction, we all are on this table saying that it needs further engagement because we all agree that
No, I think
you agree, of course. You think. Hamza also thinks that it is a call to action. Let's ask more questions. So
you understand? Yeah. Now, then DSTV. Now, for me, the confusion was created by the subsequent communique by DSTV. Now, at the end of the day, there's so much confusion. For me, I think that there's a need for the minister and DSTV to give us clarity. You understand? And I think the key thing here is what you asked me, and which was a legit issue, whether or not you can downgrade. Because if you can downgrade, then there is indeed a price reduction.
But there's even no clarity on the down.
And that's why
that's the problem.
So that's why that's the need, and that's what I'm asking for that clarity. You understand? Because if there's clarity, and if they say that you can downgrade, then there's about 98% price reduction. Then what that will mean, apart from the person who buys the paddy one, not the lowest one, because for the paddy one, they didn't have a price reduction. What they only had was an increase in value.
In value.
Yeah. Apart from that, if there's clarity, and the clarity is to the fact that, listen, you can downgrade, then an argument that there's a price reduction will stand on all fours. Now supposing somebody decides today to go and purchase DSTV and can purchase a bundle at 570 and have access to
the compact plus or premium?
No, to the premium, which was about 865 just about 3 days ago. Then indeed, there is a price reduction. Yeah, understand? And so for me...
Price reduction. The next...
No. And so for me, what Kamadams are trying to do is to play our normal partisan politics. Yeah, understand? So you see, that's my impression. For me, I feel that one...
Unfortunately, I'm unable to withdraw that for you because this is political comments. So
So for me, I feel that one.
What makes it partisan?
I
told you that I'm the issue. I was with the minister.
Okay, I think it's Hamza's turn now.
You see, there's nothing partisan.
We are all coming back home.
Talk about that.
I think that when they say that when dry bones are mentioned in a program, old women become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's a local saying back home. And you see, the reason why in my initial submission, I spoke about the personalization. It was grounded.
What does that mean?
First of all, even in the political undertones of the submissions of my brother, we all know the posture of the new patriotic party when it comes to certain ministers under this administration. It's not hidden.
So this is not political.
How so?
This is not political.
It is.
Really? This is not political.
Your comments, your
Did I go after the minister?
Can I?
Yes, I'll give you that time.
Not after him.
I'll listen to you, please.
I'm talking to him, not you.
No, but
then he's on the floor. Please let him.
Come on. We know the posture.
Come on, you can make note of anything you want to rebut.
We know the posture of the NPP when it comes to certain appointees of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. No matter what good comes from this minister. For example, the likes of the Honorable Okuchecha Ablakwa, because of the work they did in opposition, the likes of Sam George, because of how firm they stood in opposition.
Can you cite an example?
Like what?
An example of how, you say we know the position of the NPP when it comes to certain appointees.
But you...
How, like...
I'm just giving you an example of the works they did and the fact that they have been targeted.
No, I mean, like, give me an impression they created. What did the NPP do?
Oh, but even quite recently, when there were issues about the presidential jet, didn't they call on His Excellency, Foreign Affairs Minister to resign? Is it the first time you are hearing them target the likes of Sam George, Semi JMP, and of course, Okujito Ablakwa. We know their modus operandi.
But at the core,
and so that's why from the
what's the
onset,
work of opposition parties? At the core of it.
you see, but I'm just giving you a picture. And that is why you hardly see NPP people supporting initiatives of these appointees. And that's why I indicated from my earlier submission that we needed to take the personalization and sensationalism out of the discourse and concentrate to a very large extent on the issues that border. His motivation is, oh, the minister must go. He has misled everybody. Blah, 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 blah. But we all know, even in negotiations...
Kamal, have you said the minister should go?
You were here. I said you were here.
But he said
remind
that.
me.
He said that.
I'm just.
That if it were to be any other country, the minister would have been out by now.
I'm just a poor young woman moderating 3 men. Have you said the minister should go?
Didn't you even hear him say that if it were to be any other country, the minister would have been gone by now?
Do you want me to answer?
MFA, are you pretending that you didn't hear?
Can I answer?
Hamza,
write your questions.
MFA. Yes. Don't give me too much credit. There are 3 minutes.
You did say on this platform, when you were actually introducing this topic, that consumer protection...
Profit Capital said, yes.
It's on record to have said the minister elsewhere, if it was some other jurisdiction, would have resigned.
Is that your position?
Or even left. And of course, and I backed it.
You backed it?
I backed it by saying that if indeed you did not
deliver on your own promise,
deliver on your own promise,
you should walk out of the kitchen.
Calls for you to walk out are legit.
We have clarity, make the point.
Can I make my point? So clearly,
we have clarity.
Their motivation is no. It is the reason why he struggled to concentrate on the germane issues that we are all concerned about. And it has to do, you said you were going to give us 30% reduction. You have not given us 30% reduction. That is all. The thing is about sensationalism. It's about what's the name? Sam George. Nothing more.
Okay.
But the point I want us to focus on, MFA, is the thorny issues of the politics of DSTV.
Yeah.
Because what they are engaged in is simply a strategy to take all of us for granted as a country. And for me, last night, that was my anger and disappointment when we decided to make the fight between Sam George and a section of the Ghanaian people. When in actual sense, we should be concentrating on the conduct of DSTV intended to misrepresent what they agreed together. These are questions we should be asking.
Is it strange what DSTV is doing for a business owner? In fact, I do not see how DSTV would even encourage you to downgrade, because you know when you downgrade it...
No, I'm not even talking about the downgrade.
For example, I'm just using that as an example, that if you look at the posture and the behavior of DSTV, do you anticipate anything different? Do you expect that they will be mute? Do you expect that they will come along easily?
That is the reason why we should get them to come along. Whichever way we can do it within our
But they're running
laws.
a private business. How do they...
They are running, but the laws allows us to take certain measures, like the minister did, by giving them, 10,000 Ghana cedis fine daily, the daily 10,000 Ghana. That was a way of keeping them in check. But clearly, what they are doing, and many of those of us who are listening, is not just about the Honorable Sam Jatta George. It is about the conduct of a business entity that is intended to take government institutions for granted and to communicate to us that, look, when they want their way, they can have it. And that is the reason why I am worried as far as this impasse is concerned. We can talk about the politics later on, but for now, this is tied to the integrity and sovereignty of our republic. And we must take advantage of this particular issue to communicate not only to DSTV, but to other corporations that when it comes to the Ghanaian identity and what we want, we'll go every length to protect it, like it happens in the United States and elsewhere.
Okay, let me go to Kamal.
And that should be our focus.
Let me go to Kamal. Kamal, I see that you have cited the Electronic Act consistently. In your reading of that act, or the provisions in that act, does it look like the minister has that real power to really say that cut prices?
First of all, the approach of the minister even speaks to the matter.
Explain.
I asked my brother a question when he was making his submission, that what powers was he clued with when he actually set off to say that if you do not reduce prices, we will take you off our what?
Our what?
We will take you off operation.
Well, I think that, for example, if he implements...
You do that based on law.
If he implements the sanctions, for example, the daily fine every day, and it is consistent, of course, that's kind of...
I am saying that, and that is born out of law. You've asked me, okay, about my reading of the law. And I asked.
So you think he has
And
power?
I'm saying that the actions and inactions of the minister alone tells you that he's actually working on a particular law.
Okay.
For him to have said that I am going to, if you do not do X, Y, Z, I will take you off.
So what
you don't just take businesses off.
So what do you think is his motivation not to use the law to get that
That is
result?
why I am worried. In the end, what we have gotten, and they call it achievement. If you set off with a fight or on a fight, and you know very well that, look, these are the powers I am clothed with, which I cited, the section 25 of it, that, look, directly, the law tells us, and it's explicit, that, look, any operational person or entity, okay, in that field, in terms of electronic communication transaction, okay, and where monopoly is seen, that particular person, when it is evident that, look, pricing is a problem, you can call on the institution, in this case, NCA, to regulate it, as it were. But that, of course, with discussions on the table, okay, with them. So the point I am making here is that we have the laws, we have a minister who said, look, I am going to use the law and I'm going to ensure that I work to serve the interests of the Ghanaian people. And the same minister, and I'm making this point again, the same minister told us that, look, they may come telling us that they will have to increase value.
Value, yeah.
We are not going to accept it. Emphatic. Then we gave our confidence, or repose our confidence in him. Go for us. In the end, what did we get?
Okay.
We got what you said we were not going to get, and then at the same time, you call it an achievement.
Andy.
That is pathetic.
Andy, beyond the NPP as well, if you follow conversations in the media space, you'd realize that there seemed to be a certain conversation around the minister's posture. What is this posture that you're talking about?
Ego.
And I'm coming to you especially because this is the NPP and this is NDC. I trust in your judgment. What is it that people are seeing? What's wrong with the posture?
In fact, yesterday I had this same posture and discussion with my mom and my younger mom and my sister. You see, as I follow Sam George, his posturing on when he was fighting the gay issue, and I think you see the same posturing here. Personally, I think Sam George's problem is the way Ghanaians are. Because for me personally, he comes across as a very strong, confident, very assertive person. Unfortunately, his posturing is likely to be interpreted as being arrogant, unfortunately, and it may affect his party. So I think that's something that he needs to deliberately work on deliberately. Because, example, you know, yesterday, I think there's this issue about comprehension.
Comprehension. I think he believes DS needs to do some work on comprehension.
So I think Sam George could have made his argument, and he could have made his argument forcefully without some of these.
Maybe it's a genuine concern. Maybe he's realized that over the years, every time he communicates, maybe people don't understand.
But unfortunately, like I'm saying,
tells you have a problem yourself.
No, because like I'm saying, personally, I don't have an issue with Sam George.
Okay.
Personally, but unfortunately, let me land.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
you said you want to land. That's so nice because he's quite a gentleman.
Let me land.
Yeah.
I want to just advise somebody, because you see, I'm not a communication expert, but I learned from Kojo Jackson that when you are communicating, it's not necessarily what you have in your mind, it's what the people you are communicating to understand.
The end result is for people to understand you.
I beg you.
Come on, please allow him.
You understand? So if at the end of the day, because of his body language, because of the extent of his probably over-assertiveness, people think that he's arrogant and he's a public officer, I think there's a burden on him to deliberately work on those issues. Otherwise, because I think he's a fantastic guy, but unfortunately, it may impact his effectiveness.
All right, Hamza, have you heard anything about posture, about the communications minister?
Not just in relation to the communications minister. I know as a matter of fact that when His Excellency President Mahama appointed the ministers of states and other state heads, like the chief executive officers, one cardinal attribute he spoke about was the need for sensitivity and character, especially when it comes to engagement with the Ghanaian people.
Yeah.
because irrespective of how you feel about certain events, your handling of same or your public appearances alone can give the government a certain image that is far from the reality on the ground. That was what led to even the eventual adoption of the Code of Ethics, intended to more or less fashion out an acceptable way of conducting businesses and behaving as far as our political engagements are concerned. And so from where I sit, whether people have raised concerns about the Honorable Sam George or not, he's a very good brother of mine.
As a brother, how do you describe his?
I'm coming.
I don't like
that's why I'm a bit careful, in the sense that what I know and my engagements with him are totally different from the picture that people are trying to create.
But do we all not have that, where you have a behavior that is and then when you're in public? What you have said, you've seen him in public.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. I can assure you that it is not about my opinion, because my opinion would be biased because of my personal relationship with him, in all honesty. Because I know him.
But you belong to the NDC, and I've never thought your opinion is biased. How are you now?
No, because of my personal relationship with him. It is very personal. Like, he's a member. Sam George can be forgiven to, like, in fact, we consider him a member of our family. And I'll get there. Let me learn. The point I am making about him is that, like, I agree totally with your position when it comes to how forceful he has always been. It didn't start today. Tough guy, committed because of his own experiences growing up. Shaped his way of engagement and going about his businesses. But if these are concerns that we need to take and engage him further, I can assure you that though Sam George appears confrontational and strong, he's one beautiful character to engage. And he's someone who is ready to listen. And so I would, if whatever your concerns are, do the sampling. Get us the opinions. If you feel that there's something that untoward about his character or his engagement,
NDC be the one doing this.
We are doing our own assessment. But if you can support us, that's why you are the former state, or you are shying away from your responsibilities.
Let's go to.
We would engage him.
I thought on this subject matter, I have not said.
Which one? Posture. I think you have mentioned posture from the beginning.
I introduced. Of course.
Let's talk about something that would interest you as well.
Which one?
Let's talk about the invitation to the CSOs to come for a stakeholder engagement to the president in the fight against illegal mining.
Before I get into it,
because I have just a few minutes.
Yeah, I know you have a few minutes, but of course, spare me 1 minute or 30 seconds to comment on this. You see, Andy nailed it right. The Ghanaian people are in for people who appear humble. The Ghanaian people are in for people who, in behavioral sciences, we do not see them as arrogant. Yes, you can be assertive, you can be intelligent, you can be what? Fluent in whatever. But be mindful of the words you use that would depart from being humble to being arrogant. That's all I can say to Sam George.
Okay, let's go to the CSOs. So they
advise well taken on behalf of Sam.
That's really nice.
That's an advice. We are a listening government, so we don't take for granted views being expressed about the government.
Let's talk about the CSOs. So the invitation that the president thinks that we should have a frank dialogue or conversation in the fight against illegal mining. Franklin Kujo of Imani says that, well, there's no need for dialogue.
Absolutely, there's no. I share with him.
I think as well, the Catholic bishop, one of the bishops as well, has said that. I think we've gone past
it.
Dialogue.
Absolutely.
You also agree?
Completely. That's my position. You see,
so
we have a problem. When you asked me what was the big thing in my mind this morning, or on me this morning, I did say that galamsey or illegal mining is something we should fight to nip in the bud. Today, the commoner who buys sachet water is not safe. Today, the people who live along our river bodies, contaminated ones, are not safe. Today, the farmer who farms for you and I to get vegetables on our table, is not safe, and we are not also safe.
But is it not behavioral? Is it not our behavior from years ago?
It should.
Because when you
it should be accepted. So it should be accepted.
No, that's not what I am saying.
Absolutely.
If it's not safe,
I am saying it has been aggravated, or it has actually been scaled higher because of what? Illegal mining. Even if we had that happening, the damage or the fear of damage wasn't so much like now. That is why every single person is calling for it. And I ask this simple question. Why do we continue talking on matters we can simply resolve? Let me tell you.
Is it simple?
Illegal, yes. Why
is
not?
it simple?
We can.
Is the fight against
there are
illegal mining
presidencies I am going to
simple?
cite. Listen to me. There are presidencies I'm going to cite.
I'm listening.
Under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, something significant happened, which was to issue or to give a moratorium on all forms of mining to halt. Now, when that happened, look at the advantages, the positives that we got out of that.
They are?
Yes.
The
Our river body started. All forms of mining went off for months until it was reintroduced. And then where we said that community mining and other responsible forms of responsible mining was actually going to be what? The hallmark. Sadly, it didn't happen. Sadly, it didn't happen. And we decided to do the usual politics again with it.
Okay, let's get some answers.
We decided to do the usual politics again with it. I'm saying that if this government is committed to fighting illegal mining, what you are supposed to do is, first of all, we have a problem. People who are engaged in illegal mining in all those areas, we may not know them or we may not see them or they hide to do all these things. What you can do is that terminate or stop all forms of mining, have a discussion with your small-scale miners, have a discussion with your large-scale miners, tell them that, look, is the reason why I've done this is this. And we are giving ourselves a year or 6 months to ensure that we sanitize the system before we get back into responsible mining. It is finished. This talk of I'm calling CSOs, this talk of I'm calling this, the Catholic Bishops Secretariat that you have referred to are on record to have called. President Mahama, in opposition, you said you were going to do what? You're calling for a state of emergency to be instituted.
I've had a question
we
for
also are reminding you, yes.
I've had a question for the
President Mahama is on record to have said that there should be state of emergency on illegal mining.
Assuming he did,
And
I
then
have a question. I have a question.
Referred him to
I have a question. I have a question. Hamza, let me moderate this. I have a question.
It's on record.
Is this an attempt by political parties to say that when a party is campaigning and then they make a promise and then they come to power and then they find an alternative way to solve a problem, because it is a promise, they must honor it at all. Your
own acting Chief Justice tells you that since you came to power, Galamsey has gone west. I didn't say it.
Okay.
What is the promise? And we are here, Catholic Bishop Secretariat are on record to have said that it's gone west. Okay. We are here, Galamsey fighters have all said that coalition have said that it's going west.
And we
so
think
what have we done?
Declaration of a state of
and then you are the same person
on.
who believes in opposition that, look, there's in 4 months, and it's on record, there's a video again. John Mahama said in 4 months he will solve Galamsey.
Really?
Yes. Okay. I am telling you, look, I'm not just speaking. I can play the video to you. He said that. I will share it to you.
Can you share with the production?
It's on record to have said that in 4 months they are going to end Galamsey. John Mahama is on record to have called for state of emergency to be instituted in opposition. Only for you to come and then you now give a resort to semantics and then rhetorics.
You know what, Hamza? Can you just reiterate exactly your promises about illegal mining?
First of all, I think that he has made baseless claims.
Don't worry. If your producer wants, I can prove it. To prove to you that it's not
baseless. Unable to prove it. You can't.
I can prove it.
I respect that. So I would urge that by the end of my submission,
I will. If the producer is ready, I can get the
with your production team so that we all can
be clear
on this platform. MFA, first of all, as a government, we accept full responsibility when it comes to the issue of confronting the menace of illegal mining. Indeed, in opposition, many of our members felt strongly and associated with civil society organizations then who were calling for a declaration of state of emergency. And the basis upon which the calls were made are totally different as we have today. But as a political party, there is nowhere that we indicated that officially the National Democratic Congress, as a way of confronting the menace, would declare a state of emergency.
What is your current
part of the options, please.
What's the current position?
And so our position has been clear. We have rolled out a number of policy interventions intended to ensure a sustainable approach to the fight against illegal mining, with the hope that a year or two from now, we would have results that we can all be proud of. But the option of a declaration of a state of emergency is not out of consideration.
Yeah.
Indeed, His Excellency President Mahama, in his engagement with the media, indicated strongly that where we are, he does not think that we are at a stage where we need to deploy the option of state of emergency declaration. But when we get there, as a government, be rest assured that we will not shy away from that declaration. We have rolled out a number of policy interventions, and we are keenly monitoring these policy interventions. We know that it will be difficult for our water bodies to be clean in a matter of a month or 2 or 3, considering the 8 years of desecration and state-sponsored illegal mining activities that went on in the previous regime. And so it will take time for us to begin to reclaim many of these lands. It will take time for us to begin to clean our water bodies. But this government is committed to that fight. And when that statement was made, civil society organizations like the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAC, and that of the Catholic Bishops Conference, still indicated that, look, we have heard you, but we are still committed, and we feel that the way to go is to declare a state of emergency.
So do you agree
consistent with the position that they held?
Dialogue?
Huh?
The CSOs, some of the CSOs that you're inviting say that there's no need for dialogue. How do you feel about that?
That cannot be so. As far as I'm concerned, which CSOs?
Imani Kujo says.
So if they are not, if they feel like there's no need, if they can elect not to attend, it is within their democratic right to do so, and this government will respect it. But the reasons why we thought it prudent to engage them was simply to make bare our blueprint, because you remember, it's a national security fight. And so it is not everything about the strategy that we have deployed that we can make bare publicly, because it then arms the illegal miners to continue to take advantage and evade the legal processes or the security implications that we have on the ground to contain sin. So we thought that the only way for many of these civil society organizations to appreciate the sincerity and commitment of this government is to bring them into a closed-door meeting, make bare the blueprint that we have, so that they can be partners and understand the orientation of this government when it comes to confronting the menace. If after that engagement, they still feel that, look, we have had that engagement, we have looked at your blueprint, and we still feel that, look, declare a state of emergency, we can continue to engage. And if there's the need for us to do so, we'll do so. But unlike what we experienced in the past, I listened to him sort of question. No, I need to, because he made references to it. Yes, he made references to it. He made references to the fact that for 2 years,
you should be landing safely.
Yeah, I will hopefully. He made
no crash landing.
No crash landing.
Some months.
If that's in a matter of months.
He said
4 months. He said 4 months.
No, I'm not talking about President Mahama. I'm talking about NADO's moratorium on illegal mining.
For 2 years. That's
on small-scale mining.
He said for some.
You know, many of you led the charge. Even at the time they announced that so-called ban, many of their party people were on the grounds mining. And many of those of you in the media have raised concerns. Did our water bodies get clean?
Was there more?
You have
two. We have evidence. We have evidence of those who were, please. We have evidence of those who were mandated to preside over that ban, actually receiving cash donations from illegal miners to make way for them. Didn't you see that the Flagstaff House? You people played those videos.
Yeah.
So they simply took advantage. You see, that ban was a ruse intended to flash out people they considered who were not sympathetic to the cause of the NPP and bring on board their own sympathizers to continue the destruction of our water.
So it all rests to the point that that's why the Ghanaian people voted.
And that's why in my initial submission, I told you that this government accepts complete responsibility.
But they
as far as confronting
the fight is simple.
We are not shying away. If the fight was simple for 8 years, what did they do?
It's not me.
You are listening to the NPP.
Oh no!
Unless you have forgotten. They just handed over power to us about 8-9 months ago. If the fight was that simple, do you think that we would have been here?
I have to go
but MFR finally.
Three of you. Andy is my favorite panelist, and I'll say it live on air. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't interject. He stops when I say stop. He's
moving to change.
Andy.
So that's why he's quiet. Moving to what?
MFR, can I land at least?
Have you not landed?
I have not. I was just about to when you decided to make Andy the star boy. Of course, even I admire MFR. He knows. Okay. Even I admire.
You allow this gentleman. Please land. No, you make a point and he's responding.
Please.
Yeah.
So,
please land.
Look, as for the civil society organizations who feel
Hamza.
that there's no need
come on, his name is Hamza. He's a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman. Please.
He's gone.
Who's a gentleman?
The civil society organizations who feel strongly that we have gone past the stage of engagement. My appeal to them, the likes of Imani, is to give us this last opportunity to engage. Because we have not had the opportunity of making bare our blueprint to them. And so they must at least consider coming around to the table. Let us sit down and judge or let us engage. If they still feel strongly about their position, be rest assured that His Excellency President Mahama is not one known to shy away from responsibilities. Andy. We'd be more than willing to take on board any concerns that they have and deal with this matter decisively.
Fasten your seatbelt. You have landed. Let's go.
I think the call to dialogue is excellent. Now, this is why I think it is excellent. I think there's no dispute as to the fact that we need to win this battle against Galamsey. Now, the issue is that there are so many different approaches from so many different groups. We in the movement believe that to fight this battle and fight it well, the president needs to ban small-scale mining for a while. We need to have an audit, a serious audit into the licenses that have been issued over the past 15 years. We need to even change the punishment regime. You understand? That's our position. There are other people who feel that the president needs to have to declare a state of emergency. The president is saying that he doesn't think he needs to declare a state of emergency because he has enough powers to deal with the issue. Now, there's so many different hymn sheets as to how to fight this battle. Really takes away from our ability as a people to deal with Galamsey. And so, as president, I think that one of his duties is to find a situation of putting all of us together to sing from the same hymn sheet as to the approach. And that I feel that this call for dialogue is critical. Indeed, I'll ask that beyond the CSOs, he also calls the minorities, the MPP and other minorities into a dialogue. Because one of the biggest problems we are facing, or that's hindering our ability to fight this, is the over politicization of the issues. So if we can find a leader who find a way of bringing all of us together as one people to fight this battle, then it will be a feather in the cap. So for me, beyond the CSOs, I'll tax the president.
Also invite
MPP, invite.
Come on, would you attend? If you have
I disagree.
Will you attend?
I disagree with you.
Will you attend? Just say yes or no. Will you attend?
See, it boils down to the dialogue. You see,
will you attend?
What we are looking for now is action.
Will you attend?
And what we are looking for now is results.
Attending the dialogue will not prevent or enforce the action. Will you attend?
I have given you my position earlier. I told you that I side with what Franklin Ijo said.
There's no need for dialogue.
There's no need for dialogue.
Okay, gentlemen, I think it's been quite a good Thursday.
Yes.
We've had a great conversation.
Hopefully.
We have had a good conversation. Kamal, you had your bit on Galamsey. Hamza, you've had a bit. Hamza, when are you seeing the president?
No, what do you want to say?
When would you see the president? You don't know. You won't see him soon.
I hope.
But you can at least talk to people so you see him.
What do you want from
him? Tell him to declare state of emergency.
Joy News, we have a message for him.
And that is?
Take a look.
I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight.
Central region, yellow bread or do.
We've not exhausted the powers we even have.
Dear Mahama, while you hesitate,
pure water, 4, no day.
Using this water when I'm menstruating is a bit difficult for me.
It's going to be an outbreak of cholera. It has even started.
Water treatment plants collapsing under heavy silt.
We must ban it.
So we all drink.
We should ban it.
When Ghanaians have voted for me, I will take that responsibility.
Dear Mahama, the time has come to take responsibility.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President.
Make us a forestry commission. Almost 37 forest reserves have been destroyed. And the first thing is to get them out. Now, start to say, we will attach mining safety officers and graduates from the University of Mines and Technology to all small-scale mining companies to ensure that they do the mining in safety and according to the regulations.
They talked about repealing the LI. They talked about the state of emergency. They've been in office. And I'm just waiting for that 120 days to come to an end. Mr. President, you must live by your word. You cannot speak poetry in opposition and come and act prose when you are president.
Dear Mahama, honor the 8. Stop Galamsey.
Dear Mahama, stop Galamsey.
I was having a discussion with you. I think, first of all, let me commend the consistency of Joy, because I had cause to condemn you where I thought I needed to. And it is only fair that I commend you for your demonstration of consistency, especially when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. It's something that you have championed, even under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And so what you are doing today is simply in line with principles that many of us associate with. It's a beautiful documentary. It's one that invites His Excellency President Mahama to action, and it is a documentary that we actually need, not just on your platforms alone. You can do it into smaller pieces that are circulated on many of the social media platforms, and I can assure you, sitting here, that this is not a documentary His Excellency President Mahama will take lightly.
So you tell him first?
Of course, I will. I will get there. And I'm sure, as I'm here, I'm pretty much sure that even the minister responsible for government communications is monitoring. And so this is not a documentary we will take lightly. This is not a documentary His Excellency President Mahama will take lightly, knowing his track record. Like when he was faced with the age-long problem of Drumso in 2015, he took responsibility and fixed it before leaving. Be rest assured that I want to give you an assurance on behalf of the government and His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama that we will not be hostile to this documentary.
Thank you.
We would consider you as partners as far as this fight against illegal mining is concerned, and we'll do everything within the laws of this country to ensure that we win that fight.
Thank you. Kamal, please go.
To associate myself to Hamza's comments, I will depart from here.
Don't do politics.
No, it's not politics.
Oh, I like it.
I'm referring you to a publication on My Joy News Online, or My Joy Online, which is titled, I did not kid myself that I would win Galamsey fight in 4 months. This is a publication from On Joy News, okay, or by My Joy Online. It tells you that John Dramani Mahama did say to us that indeed, if voted for by Ghanaians, he is going to use 4 months to fight Galamsey. How many months do we have now? How many months?
I thought this is a call to action.
So of course,
we had a beautiful letter.
So when I say, not just me, when the CSOs, when other advocates for the fight against Galamsey say that, look, nothing is being done 9 months down the line, then we should take it serious. And like I said, I am happy he has accepted and commended Joy for doing this or putting together this documentary. Equally, I am also doing the same. However, we should not let it be on lip service. It should be something that we champion and champion with actions.
Thank you so much. Of course, Andy has stated his position and thinks that, the MPP as well should be invited to this dialogue. But this morning, we have had Kamal Dean, Deputy Director for Communications,
but you need
NPP,
to correct this. You need to correct
Hamza Suhene, lawyer and member of
the story that he just
Communications team.
President
Andy Apia Dankwa, lawyer and spokesperson, Movements for Change. I did not kid myself that I will win Galamsey fight in 4 months. President John Dramani Mahama says he has never convinced himself that a fight against illegal mining, known as Galamsey, could be won in just 4 months of his administration. speaker at the May Day celebration held at a Black Top. Okay, of course, you can trust our portal. You can go on My Joy Online to go and read and all of that, so that you go beyond the clickbaits and all that. Thank you so much. There's more on the show. Please stay.
Well, welcome back to the AM show, and such a marathon of a news review there, held down by MFA Adeti and her guest. Let's now move on and talk about other things that are happening. But a reminder to you that the AM show is sponsored by Kinoga Company Limited and Syntex Tanks. Now, the news is that Ghana's parliament has maintained its rank as the most open legislative body in West Africa, according to the Africa Open Parliament 2025 Index. And in fact, this places Ghana second on the continent, only after the South African Parliament. Now, the latest report provides a comprehensive assessment of 33 African countries or African National Parliament, measuring their performance across 3 critical dimensions of legislative openness, including transparency, civic participation, and public accountability. We want to delve more into it by speaking to Sami Obeng. He is the Executive Director for the Africa Parliamentary Network, and also on this particular work, he plays a major role in what the Open Parliament Index did. He is, I think, the General Secretary. Sami, good morning. Thanks for joining. Correct me, you are the General Secretary for this this group, right?
Yes, I serve as Secretary General for the African Parliamentary Monitoring Organizations Network.
Good. Now, break it down for us. If we say Ghana's parliament is the most open in West Africa, what really are we saying?
Well, so the concept of parliamentary openness speaks to when a parliament is transparent, and by transparency we are talking about parliaments that makes available to its citizens information regarding what is going on in parliament, so citizens being able to observe proceedings of parliament, being able to access parliamentary documents and information online and offline, etc., etc. So transparency is one aspect. Accountability, where parliament is able to members of parliament are able to account to the people who elected them, where the institution of parliament itself is also accountable to, the citizens of the country. So accountability is the second leg. And then citizens' participation, parliaments that encourage the participation of citizens in their work. So through engagement with citizens, through ability for you to influence legislature as citizens, civil society, and what have you. So these are global benchmarks on what is called parliamentary openness, or what makes for an open parliament. And here in Africa, the African Parliamentary Monitoring Organizations Network, abbreviated as APMON, which is a network of civil society organizations that monitors and engages parliaments across the continent, have been able to develop a tool known as the Africa Open Parliament Index. Now, this tool helps to use globally accepted best practices to measure how parliaments on our continent are doing so far as these 3 dimensions of transparency, accountability, and citizens' participation are concerned, and to rank them on how open or closed these parliaments are. It is in the light of this that the most recent Open Parliament Index, which was released last Monday as part of the International Day of Universal Access to Information, shows that of the 33 African countries that were assessed, and these countries were from the Western African region, the East African region, and the Southern African region, of these 33 African countries, Ghana's parliament placed second, with South Africa topping among the 33 countries continentally. However, Ghana's parliament remains the top when it comes to West Africa. And this is consistent with the last index that was released in 2022, and this is a biennial index. So the last index that was released, where Ghana, which was only focused on West Africa, where Ghana still led the West African bloc, So yes, on the West African bloc, Ghana's parliament, so far as parliamentary openness is concerned, is doing much better than its 10 other peers who were part of this assessment. Continentally, Ghana's parliament is placed second, but Ghana's parliament placed second with a score that is below 80%. What that means is that if you are in a class and at a score below 80%, you can lead the whole class. It goes to show that you belong to a class where the students are not really up there, you know. So yes, you will be second.
But the score was 75%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have you are supposed to score a total of 100%, which is the overall score, to be able to show that your parliament is truly open, you know, in the sense of to be able to show that your parliament is truly open in that sense of parliamentary openness. If Ghana's parliament, the point I'm making is that Ghana's parliament has done some great work in ensuring that citizens can access information, in ensuring that there is some level of public engagement in parliamentary work, yet there is still room for improvement. And I think that point needs to be emphasized.
But is there any parliament anywhere in the world that scores 100 or even above 90?
Well, you know, parliamentary openness is work in progress. And the essence of the Open Parliament Index is to be able to identify where parliaments are doing well, but also identify the gaps so that in dealing with the areas where you are doing well, that is making sure that you are improving, you can also be dealing with those areas that you're not doing too well in ensuring that there are reforms. And so, yes, with the Parliament of Ghana placing second on the Open Parliament Index, particularly with an index score of 77.6%, it goes to show that, yes, it's a parliament that is making some progress, but we still always encourage more room for improvement, because even with a 77.6%, the index shows that Ghana's parliament, whereas it is doing quite good under the area of transparency and citizens' participation, under the area of accountability, which speaks to how members of parliament are able to account to their constituents, how the institution of parliament itself is able to account for, you know, the resources that is allocated to it. These remain the areas where Ghana's parliament is not doing too well in. So those are areas where we would require some room for improvement. But overall, it's important to congratulate the Parliament of Ghana for some of the innovative initiatives that they've put in place, which is encouraging more citizens' engagement, which is encouraging more transparency. There are so much that can be learned by other parliaments from the Parliament of Ghana, so it's not surprising that you usually receive delegations from other parliaments coming to understudy the Parliament of Ghana. But we say, as Oliver Twist, as Ghanaian myself, certainly we would want our parliament doing better than its current state, so far as openness is concerned.
This, of course, has a bearing on the democracy we practice in the country, right?
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if one of your arms of government continues to strive towards transparency, accountability, and citizens' participation, then you know that, and especially when it's an arm as crucial as that arm that holds, you know, the balance. So far as the democracy is concerned, I mean, the legislature is the most representative arm, you know, of our governance architecture, which is responsible also for overseeing the executive branch and ensuring that, you know, things are moving right so far as the people that we allocate resources to are concerned. If that arm of government does well, if that arm of government also remains transparent, if that arm of government is accountable in the sense of who watches the watchman, you know, then we know that they will be able to get their work going very well. There were some certain areas that did not do too well for the Parliament of Ghana in this assessment. And I think that those are the areas that Parliament needs to be looking at. I spoke already about the accountability mechanisms, making sure that they are accountable to their citizens. But there are also issues around how well Parliament is able to take up investigations that they begin, especially investigations that has gotten to do with misconduct, that has gotten to do with alleged corruption, etc., and how much they drill into it. So, for example, we are in a country where at the end of the month of January. A number of members of parliament completely misbehaved, during a parliamentary vetting process. We are about 9 months down the line. That investigation report has not been taken on the floor of parliament. Nobody is saying anything to the people of Ghana. Petition after petition, right to information request after right to information request, not much is coming out of that. When you, as a parliament, indulge in things like this, it has a way of derailing the various efforts that you are doing in the other aspects, which could have made you leave the pack so far as parliamentary openness is concerned.
So, I mean, in terms of accountability, and you mentioned how parliamentarians are not really accountable to their constituents. So if Parliament is going to work on this particular area, accountability, what do you expect them to do, and where should they start from?
There are various modules that are used in different parts of our continent even, and our parliamentarians, the leadership of parliament, are very well aware of some of these modules. So for example, if we leave members of parliament and say, between January and the Easter holidays, it's the first meeting of parliament. You're supposed to come to the house, legislate, etc., but you go on recess after that. And then you come back sometime in May and go on recess again at the beginning of August, all through to, let's say, October as they are coming back, etc., If we leave these recess periods and say, members of parliament, go back to your constituency and engage with your constituents, you don't really have a mechanism by which you are able to monitor and ensure that members of parliament are engaging. In some jurisdictions, members of parliament have clear monitoring evaluation mechanisms, clear indicators on what you need to do while you are on recess, by way of engaging your constituents, how many times you've got to engage, what kinds of engagements are considered as proper engagement, so that you are reporting back to the people who have elected you. Because unlike some jurisdictions where members of parliament do not directly represent citizens, we have a system in Ghana where citizens elect their representatives directly. And by electing their representatives directly, these people must be seen to be representing the voice of these citizens. So we need to put in place mechanisms that ensures that, number one, members of parliament know when, how, and what is expected of them so far as engaging with their constituents are concerned. Number two, the institution of parliament itself, the parliamentary service, remains transparent, accountable. The global benchmarks for parliamentary openness requires that the institution of parliament's own account, own budget, yes, it's part of the national budget, but that necessarily needs to also be seen. The bids, the contracts, the expenditures of the parliamentary institutions, transparency on those aspects is extremely important. Members and leadership of parliament must be able to go back to their constituents, but issues also of national interest, such as the example that I cited with the 30th January debacle at the Privileges Committee, issues around members of parliament who missed parliament severally in the last parliament, but went, unpunished, etc., These things, if not dealt with, does not do too well to parliamentary opinion.
Sami, I'm grateful to you for joining us. He is Executive Director for the Parliamentary Network Africa and also the General Secretary of the Africa Parliamentary Monitoring Network, up on there. We'll take a break here on the AM show. We'll be back with more, please. Do stay. All right, so the next conversation is something that you love. We all love it, don't we? When you hear that sound, it tells you that we are in a certain season. We are in it again. We'll tell you much more about it, but remember that the AM show is sponsored by Kinoga Company Limited and Syntex Tanks. Now, let's talk about the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz. Joining us in studio is Nana Ekwia Mensah Bonsu, who is the Managing Director for Prime Time Limited. Also, Dr. Gladys Ode Schwinger, Department of Plant and Environmental Biology, University of Ghana, Legon, She is our quiz mistress preliminary and won 8 stages. Okay, ladies, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning.
This is proper women empowerment. Yeah. Let's start with you, Naneka. Now, we know that this year's NSMQ launch will be happening on the 7th of October, right? What must people expect of the season?
The usual fireworks. You know, every year comes with surprises. There are always shocks. Some school that gives somebody else a run for their money. We're expecting all of that. Very interesting questions, very thought-provoking questions that we can also learn from. And yes, the usual buzz, the high emotions, the excitement, the sad times also when your school doesn't go as far as you hope that they will go. We'll keep everything up.
Okay.
Fireworks as usual.
I'm only sad that my school has not been able to make it to the finals, but I always say that
there's hope. This year there are 15 new schools. 15 schools that have never been to the national championship coming on board this time. So there's always room for improvement.
Okay. And I hear people do say we're talking about grade A school. My school has been grade A school since. But unfortunately, but the day we'll make it to the finals, the whole Ghana, you will hear. Anyway, but this year's own is coming at a time where CIMG has given you an award for Above the Line Campaign of the Year. What does that achievement bring to NSMQ, and especially in the new season we are entering into?
It means everything to us. It means that we are recognized for the work that we do. And the professional parts of the work that we do. So Primetime is primarily an advertising and public relations company. So apart from organizing this, there are other things that we do to promote and sustain the competition. So it's a great, it's a feather in our caps, and we are really proud of it. It's not the only one that we've had this year. In June, we also had the Advertising Association of Ghana, AAG Gongongs, Gongongs. One was gold for best public relations techniques, and then the other was for Gongong for Good, which is a new category that they've come up with to reward campaigns that have a strong social impact. And I believe that the National Science and Maths Quiz, if you're talking about strong social impact, there's no one better than that, and they have said so. So we are really, really proud of the awards that we've been winning and the hard work that the team puts into it. It's not just the hard work; it's also the response from our stakeholders, our sponsors, the participants, and the fans who also come together to make it a big thing. So we appreciate everybody's contribution to our success.
I know that you've been, how many years now in doing this?
So the program started 32 years ago, 1993. There were 2 years in which it didn't happen because there was sponsorship difficulties.
So that's why I come to, because sponsorship is quite vital to the sustenance of this.
Yes.
What opportunities exist for corporate Ghana to be part of this?
So there are lots and lots of opportunities. There are a lot of, mostly the companies that are on the program are providing prizes. So you have the Goyle Riddle Bonanza, you have the Prudential Life NSMQ Star, you have Pepsodent Speed Race, you have Jupe True or False, you have Momo coming on this year with the Money Zone, and then you have Pepsodent has the highest score of the day. So there are lots and lots of opportunities. And what we do is that we tailor it to meet the company that's coming, the brand's desires and its attributes. So we tailor whatever packages that we give to your specific needs. And there are lots and lots of opportunities on the competition. There's plenty more. We have the regional qualifiers, the regional championships, the national championships. There's so much space and so much room. And the contributions that the the sponsors bring on board are really, really helpful towards not just organizing the competition, but also making the students go home with smiles on their faces. I mean, if you win top scorer of the day, even if you don't progress beyond the next round, you are happy.
Yeah.
If you win the NSMQ star, that's just for round 3, to get a perfect score in the problem of the day. If you win that and you don't even win your contest, so you cannot progress to the next round, you're at least going home with something that shows that you've done something great, that you can show off to everybody. And I think that's very good for the students. It encourages them.
We look forward to the seasons, but let me bring in Dr. Schwinger now. Doc, let me take you back to the 2024 national finals in Cape Coast. What moment stood out for you? When we were playing the video, you said something, but I'll leave it to you. What moment stood out for you in 2024?
At the finals?
Yeah.
That was when Infante Pim won.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the moment that stood out for you?
Yes.
Okay.
At the final contest. They had, I could see they were working hard. They wanted to make a mark, and they really did make that mark.
Was it Infante Pim whose school was organizing, or which school was organizing prayers for them? No, during the finals, the camera went to one of the schools and they were organizing prayers. They were in a certain camp. I don't know if it's
all the schools pray.
They all do it.
Oh, okay.
All the schools pray.
Okay. But why did that stand out for you?
So I saw them coming into that contest with, they just needed to win that contest. I think they had beaten Prempe, yes.
In the quarterfinals.
In the quarterfinals, yes.
And Presec in the semifinals.
The semifinal. So once they beat Presec,
yes,
everybody was like, oh, they had the chance to win because Presec had won back-to-back.
Yeah.
Yes. So once they had eliminated them, everybody was looking forward to them winning, and they did not disappoint.
So how do you and your team prepare for the quizzes, for you to still maintain that credibility, the honesty, the rigor that the NSMQ has been known for the years?
Okay, so we work the whole year.
Okay.
Yes, we work the whole year.
As
soon as one is done, we start preparing for the next year's competition. We meet at least twice a week to go over each question, decide. So the consultants and the quiz mistresses meet. We decide on each question that is brought. We make sure we take out any ambiguity. And we try to think or try to understand how the students would take each question so that it would be good enough for them. It would be very clear to them to understand and answer.
You meet twice every week?
Yes, and at least for 5 hours at a time.
Hey, and you lecture as well?
Yes, we do.
Hey, your work is hard. Anyway, as we look forward to the 2025 National Championship, what should schools and the students be preparing for?
They are prepared for that thing. They have learned.
Okay.
They have learned. Yes, sometimes we go out of the syllabus. Yes, that separates the boys from the men. But they have all prepared. They just need to come confident. They just need to be relaxed. Sometimes it's that experience that takes out some schools. The experienced schools are relaxed. They don't try to win every point. Yeah, so if you come and you relax, you pick up your points, and you may even get some bonuses.
Okay, interesting. Now let me come back to you. Usually we ask ourselves when we are discussing NSMQ, so what has NSMQ done really? So I ask you, what are the social and the educational impact you would say the NSMQ has achieved over the years?
There's a whole lot that the NSMQ has done. If you go to the schools, you realize that some of the schools have actually institutionalized it, the training for it, and the students compete very actively to be on the NSMQ team because they know that they're going to get extra tuition, they are going to be pushed hard to study hard. You should see some of the schools, the kind of rigor they go through to prepare their students for the competition each year. The competition itself, because of how it is set up, the students have to learn shortcuts to solving the questions because they don't use calculators. You're not allowed to use calculators. So you must understand the fundamentals of whatever principles you're dealing with so that you can even if you don't know the formula, you can get it out yourself because you know exactly what it is. They have to learn shortcuts. The kind of questions that the problem of the day presents, for example, are Section B questions that usually take maybe 25 minutes kind of thing, and you are solving it in 4 minutes. So you have to learn and understand how these things, they really go in very deep so that they can prepare the students well to compete favorably with others. It's a competition among schools, so it kind of helps you to tell how well you are doing in terms of your science training for your students. It's served as some kind of advertisement. I can say that it's some type of advertisement for the schools also. So the schools that do well, when they are doing the admissions every year, there's a lot of wahala for them. Everybody is subscribing to the schools. There's a whole lot. And we have a huge pool of former contestants who are doing wonderful things all over the world, Microsoft, Google, wherever. Wherever there's science in there, there's somebody from NSMQ in there. Just recently, just this week, you had some, the KNUST science, the medical school, the graduations.
I saw it.
There are lots of them in there who are NSMQ. Former contestants. So even on the educational side, you have so many of these things. The schools themselves benefit because they are old students, invest in the schools now. There's a lot of pride in the schools and they invest in science facilities, putting together science facilities to enable their students, perform well. They pay for them to do trials in other places, buy vans for them. Really, there's a lot that's going on in there, and the old students are very involved, and it's very encouraging to see that. Even on the social side, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the last WASI, which was written just last month in September, in English, the English paper, question one of the questions was for a student who was writing to write a letter to a friend in another school to tell them about the benefits of being in the National Science and Maths quiz team.
This was your question.
We didn't have anything to do with it. We were just a surprise. But it just tells you that it's a very topical issue. And that it's something that is that the students are expected to know because they see it's a phenomenon that's happening around them all the time, and that we thought was wonderful.
In fact, the NSMQ itself has become like more of a brand.
Yes.
You hear NSMQ, it's...
The song itself, the signature tune. Somebody remarked years ago that it's unbelievable that a science competition would be teaching Ghanaians classical music. Because that piece is a Mozart piece. Yes. It's from The Marriage of Figaro, and it's called Voi che sapete, What is Love? That's what the song is actually called. So there are so many things. The moment you hear the song, you know the NSMQ is coming. I've seen videos of brass bands
trying to
replaying the song during Independence Day marches in regional capitals because now it's become part of the songs that they play. There's so much that the NSMQ has done. If you're talking about national unity, it's a point of national unity. At that point in time, nobody's fighting about politics. We are all supporting our schools. Not only the schools we attended, the schools in our regions too. When the schools do well and they go back to their home regions, there's usually a lot of fanfare. There are debates that are held for them. There are so many examples of that. And
may one school from Western Region win so we can have a fanfare there. But as the journey begins,
yes.
What message would you want to give the students, the schools, and stakeholders?
That it's going to be a wonderful season as usual. We are going to put out everything that we've got to make sure that it's a successful event. I'd like to say that Cape Coast and the regional directorate there, they've been wonderful. The University of Cape Coast, they've been wonderful.
Yeah, please
so
mention Cape Coast again, the University of Cape Coast.
Yes,
you can,
they've been wonderful. The regional minister even came in to help us to make sure that all the arrangements would be done and done very, very well. Okay. We got a really warm welcome from the Omanhene Osaberima. Honestly, yes, it's been very, very good. Okay. There, and we are really happy to go back. So it's going to be wonderful as usual. Can I say thank you to my sponsors?
Why not? You can.
Yes, so
you can.
I'd like to say a very, very, very big thank you to the Ministry of Education, especially to the Minister. I'd like to say a really big thank you to the Ghana Education Service and to CHAS for, CHAS makes sure that the students, the preparation and so on, but the Ministry and the GES have been phenomenal in making sure that we got the funding that we need to do this year's competition, and we are really grateful to them. Thank you, a very big thank you to GOEL. They're a partner sponsor. They made sure that the regional qualifiers championships happened the way that it's supposed to happen. They are going to be at the national championship, giving out the GOEL Riddle, Super Riddle Bonanza, so that the students would be even more interested in giving out good riddles. I'd like to say thank you to Prudential Life Insurance. They've been with us for many years. They are back with the NSMQ Star. Thank you to Jupay. They are back this year as well. They'll be sponsoring the True or False. Thank you to Bell Beverages. They are back. Kivo Gari, Coronation Insurance. They are also supporting us very, very well. Thank you to Accra College of Medicine and Academic City University. They've been with us for a while, giving out scholarships to deserving contestants so that they pursue, higher education, science related in their schools. Thank you to GTP. They've been phenomenal, providing fabrics for us over the years, so many years of that. I'd like to say a very big welcome to Momo by MTN. This year, they are coming on and they are sponsoring the Money Zone so that all the students who participate from the quarterfinals can go home with something nice to show everybody that they've participated. And welcome also to Truster AI. They are also new on the competition this year, and they are also supporting to make sure that everybody goes home with something to show for their hard work that they've put in. Some kind of recompense.
All right.
Thank you so much to our sponsors. And thank you, Joy News.
Exactly.
We cannot say enough how much you have supported us over the years, especially since 2018. So multimedia, but led by Joy News since 2018. You've been phenomenal. All the interviews that you give us, the work on the ground, both for the regionals and the national, the crew that you support us with, the technical know-how and everything. We can't say thank you enough.
We're grateful.
Thank you.
I wanted to go back to Dr. Stringa, but my time is up. So we have to leave. But I guess that we'll have another time for us to talk about how we can help girls' participation in the quiz. Grateful to you. Great. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay.
I'm a Dogomba man. You are staying in Tamale. and you come and attack me? What about if my people from Tamale to attack me?
This Friday on Adum TV, join us as we explore the history of electoral violence in Ghana's 32-year-old democracy.
If we want violence, Afanya Makin wouldn't have made it back home. We want him to return next time. There might be a by-election right in his own constituency.
We will examine the clashes that have shaken the nation, from Boku to Ayawaso, or Dododio to Ablekuma North.
In the Chiraponi by-election, it's not somebody I witnessed an individual take a gun and shoot 3 people. I was in Tallahassee by-election. We had to run for our lives.
Well, so let's speak to the producer of this particular documentary, Jagre Boas Bayinjom. He is with Adum Special Assignment Desk. Jagre, good morning to you. I mean, what should we expect on this project?
This project, we've delved into the issues about electoral violence from our elections, general elections, by-elections, and all that. So this documentary, we've done a research. What is the cause of this electoral violence in our elections, and then the effect, and also some solutions that we need to put in place to be able to solve this issue.
Okay. Yes. What's the push? What made you do this work?
You see that for the previous years, since 1992, what we've seen in our elections is that anytime there is election, there is misunderstanding. People have lost their lives. Some have been killed. Some are amputees today. Some have lost their jobs. In fact, some are in prison because of electoral violence. And so, as a country, we've done this documentary to find out what is causing this electoral violence in our elections.
Okay.
What can we do as a country to solve this issue? And going forward, what should we do? You remember what happened at Talensi? What happened at Cherepone? Odududio. Ayawaso West Wogon. Recently, Akutia. Putting all this together, we've delved into what is the cause.
Okay.
What is causing it? What should we do? Me being a normal person, going to vote, at the end of the day, loses my life. Why? What are we going to do as a country to protect the democracy we have? Putting Galamsey aside, that we all know is a serious issue. Electoral violence is also an issue we need to look at.
Okay.
So this documentary, we've put together visuals, research since 1992 till date. What have been the issues in our elections? What is causing the electoral violence? Some solutions that we need to do as a country. We are boasting of ourselves that we are the beacon of democracy.
Okay.
Yet there are some challenges that we face as a country.
That must be dealt with.
And that must be dealt with.
Okay. Jagre, I think this will be a very good work, and congrats for being able to put together this
Yes, so what I want to say is that everyone watching me live on Joy News, the documentary will be shown live tomorrow on Adum TV, 3 p.m. So they should stay tuned and watch the Ghana's gunpoint elections.
Okay.
The causes of electoral violence from main general elections to by-elections.
Thank you very much. Jagre Boas Bayinjom is producer of the, Ghana's gunpoint elections. And that's how we wrap up the AM show today. Up next, it's News Desk. Good morning.